Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Gen X Jeff Show Outliers in Exile. It's going to be an open panel. I'm going to talk a little bit about social roles because I remember today I had wanted to do that as a topic and it came up. So um, I just checked the news. More the same. Hezbollah confirmed their dude is dead. Israel got him. Um, and the hurricane aftermath. And there's an election with Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. All right. Let's see if I have anything else. Um, yeah, let's see. Hassan Nasrallah, which is the Hezbollah leader that was killed, was a legitimate military target under international humanitarian law. The strike that eliminated him was carried out in accordance with international humanitarian law. So, if we have that anymore. Okay, and then here's a tweet I like on philosophy. Philosophy is a particular tradition within Western thought with a well-known structure and systems of thought. If your work doesn't engage with that, then by all means you might be an interesting thinker, but you are probably not a philosopher. And I've talked about that tradition before, going all the way back to Greece. The Western intellectual tradition. Okay, social roles. I started with the AI, and then I found a few websites that expand on it. But what are social roles, and how do they contribute to our development as humans? Social roles, the building blocks of human development. Social roles are the expected behaviors. Okay, so that has to get communicated somehow. And responsibilities associated with a particular position or status within a group or society. These roles could be formal, like being a parent teacher, or informal, like being a friend or a teammate. So they're like relational roles, like functional and relational. My very first thought reading that first sentence, social roles are the expected behaviors and responsibilities. And my first question was expected by whom? And I immediately thought of family, like your parents, your family. So each family is going to have a different idea. I'd go to friends' houses and they do things completely differently than my mom did it at our house. And so to me, that starts mostly with the parents and kind of stays there too. If you don't like the way somebody was raised, just go find people that were raised like you like them. And responsibilities, again, that would start in the home. Things like school also might have a role. Um, but my social role in school was student. Like that's the or like outsider, I guess, was my informal role or relational role. But my formal or functional role was student. I was there to acquire an education. That was my role. So it says the importance of social roles, identity formation. I always think of identity as something separate from social roles. I associate them with like individuality. Social roles help individuals define who they are and how they fit into the world. By taking on different roles, we develop various aspects of our personality and identity. Yeah, I agree with that. Like each new role we take on can help us uncover another part of ourself in that role. Um, as I was reading some of this, like a lot of this, I kept having the impression that maybe this is a certain type of thinking that a lot of people have, maybe like neurotypical people, but a lot of it was foreign to me. I'm like I don't do that. I don't have this. This didn't happen with me, etc. And also socialization. We've talked about over socialization on here before too, but let's hear about what socialization is. Through social roles, we learn the norms, values, and behaviors of our culture. Right. And once again, by the way, Joe, that site you gave me with that guy that does the regions of America, I tried to watch it and he lost me 20 seconds in. His whole framing of America and it being it has no national identity. It's an imperialist nation, etc. Totally disagree. Anyway, I've showed this the other day. Let's just take a refresher. Hey, Daniel Barry and Abe, welcome, welcome. Just doing a little short topic, and then I'll open the panel. Okay. This was done a while back. A guy named Colin Woodward, and you could open, do your own, or it could be open to revision, etc. But the point is, there's definitely distinct cultural regions in the U.S., including down here, in Louisiana, where I grew up, and each one. So when it says the norms of a culture, we're depending on where in the U.S., the norms are going to be different. So whose norm gets to dominate? It says these roles guide our interactions with others and help us understand our place in society. Again, so much of that is inferred and nonverbal unless it's directly communicated. And nobody came to me at any point in my development that I can remember and said, this is your social role. These are the expectations. These are the responsibilities. I had specific positions, like I was an altar boy, scout troop. So as an altar boy, I had specific duties, responsibilities. So that was a role. And people came to me and explained that specific role to me. I was 4-H club president. So that was a specific role. I got elected into it. And all of a sudden, me, normal Jeff, student, was now also president of this club. And I had to, mainly it was parliamentary. I had to run the meetings. Robert's Rules of Order and stuff like that. So I had to learn that function, but it didn't change my identity in any major way. So I could think of things like that, but none of it was explicit. Like, you're a male or a white male, this is your expectations, your roles. If people pick that up, and apparently the people around me did, my siblings and my friends, they got it somehow in a way different than I did, because I didn't really get that kind of stuff. I might have been a little socialized or under-socialized. I was socialized intellectually, and I had a lot of intellectual mentors that made sure, like, I learned how to think and do philosophy and logic and stuff like that, and be aware of my society in a larger historical and cultural context. But I didn't have like life mentors of this is how you do your life and become an adult. Um, I grew up in a pretty laissez-faire household. My mom worked. She wasn't around a lot of time. We were latchkey kids. We mainly took care of ourselves. And like, we never had an allowance or chores. We just did we did the chores whoever when they needed to be done. There wasn't a system. I remember I tried to get us on a system and nobody was interested. So we just kind of did our chores however. There was no allowance. If you wanted something, you either asked your mom or you begged your mom for it, etc. And so there was no, like, I didn't learn money, I didn't learn budget, any of that stuff. So the point of all this is I imagine this would be very diverse here in the US. This whatever social roles are and however we get them. I know there's a whole Erickson stage 5, I think. Um, Number 3, structure and order. They provide a framework for social interactions, helping to maintain order and stability within groups and communities. Well, that's weird because I somehow managed to do that anyway without this kind of rigid social role type of thinking. I have to explore that more. Personal growth, taking on new roles can challenge us to develop new skills, learn new things, and grow as individuals. Yeah, I could see. a role in that, a role in that role. Community building, shared social roles can foster a sense of belonging and connection with communities, like having wrenches or badges, that type of stuff, perhaps. Um, Examples, you have family roles, occupational roles, community roles, social roles. Even when I'm at a job, like they tell me my job, I think of it more as duties, my job duties. I know what my role is. I'm there to help the clients. Um, I don't have a sense of rigid, like we're all there to do the same thing, whether you're a supervisor, an entry level, whatever. I don't really worry about individual roles. I see us all as one organization with one mission. And so that's what I'm saying. Some of this, like my brain just works differently. Social roles are fundamental to human interaction and development. However, individuals with autism or other neurodivergencies navigating these roles can present unique challenges, difficulty understanding social cues, rigid thinking. I think neurotypicals have just as rigid a thinking when they collide. Theory of mind challenges, that's why they call it double empathy. Um, and then this other website breaks it down into, let's see, they say social roles refer to the behavior patterns. I'm just not used to, like, I have very minimal expectations of how other people should behave, and hopefully they have the same of me, or they should. Are expected of individuals in different situations and settings based on their specific position within a social unit. That already sounds like code switching, which some autistic people can be very bad at, including me. These roles comes with rights, responsibilities, expectations, and social norms. Okay, right. I can understand. Like, I guess it's scale. I understand it on a family scale, a school scale, an individual position scale or role, like altar boy, class president, whatever. I understand it in job context, but once you scale beyond that to like this general abstract society, I don't. These roles lose meaning. What is my role in larger society? I have no clue, and I doubt other people know too. They might have a role as father, employer, business owner, maybe in a capitalist society that would be a larger role. But beyond that, it starts to get too fuzzy for it to have any practical use for me. Um, so I don't obsess about my place in society. I just try to do my thing and contribute to society to make it better. I guess my place in society, at least American society, is the place I assign to myself in that society. I determine that. Other people don't determine that for me. Least of all the government. And then it says social norms. They break it down into roles and norms. Social norms are the unwritten rules of beliefs, attitudes, and behaviors that are considered acceptable in a particular social group or culture. So this is all the stuff I ignore because I have this quote unquote disability that I can't see or process any of this stuff very well anyway. However y'all are doing it, whether it's brain structure, um, cognition, how we were raised as toddlers, whatever. I can't do that like everybody else can. So if it's unwritten or unspoken, if it can't be explicitly communicated, I don't feel obligated to worry about it. I don't. And so if you can't communicate it to an autistic person, they shouldn't be expected to worry about it, and vice versa. If I can't communicate my autistic needs to you in a way you can understand them, I don't hold you responsible for meeting them. That's on me to accommodate somehow. Um, they talk about things like greetings. Like we were taught manners. I call that manners. We were taught that growing up. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Thank you. Shake hands. Dining, like proper dining etiquette, dress code, lining up in a line, hygiene, punctuality, personal space. That is cultural because I was at a training up here in Seattle for one of my jobs, and they did this exercise. I had no idea. Now that I think about it, I have no idea what it had to do with the workplace, but it was some kind of orientation. They talked about social justice too. Now that I think about it, and it was about personal space. And they had us all line up. They made two lines, and then we had to turn with our backs facing each other. So you were matched up with another person, and then you had to slowly start walking backwards. And when somebody got like within your personal, your subjective personal space, you were supposed to raise your hand where they got they got they're like into your personal space zone, wherever you consider that. And so we were doing this exercise, and everybody was stopping, like way out to here. And like the whole time, I'm just walking and walking and walking. I was the only one. Like my personal space was way over here. And then after we turned around and saw everybody, all the line was like stopped more or less in the same place except for me. I was like way out here by myself, close to my person, because my sense of personal space, and that's a cultural thing. We like growing up, we hug, we sit next to each other. The baby sits on the person's lap. We have a totally different sense of personal space. You sleep six or seven in the bed. You share bathrooms. You take baths together to save water. And so some of that is cultural, and a lot of what gets internalized as norms, people become very dogmatic about. And I noticed a thing even with some autistic people, because of that, what they call rigidity, they can internalize like whatever social norms they were brought up with to a degree even stronger than a neurotypical. In general, I find neurotypicals very flexible with norms. Like a neurotypical in general, and only in my experience, will kind of flex. Like they'll recognize when a norm is not theirs and flex to it quicker or more fluidly than an autistic person will on balance. Not saying that all autistic people will do that or all neurotypical people. But usually if there's going to be a tussle, it's going to be with another spurt because the neurotypical is going to be much more likely to pick up what's going on and be able to flex around it. That's why most of my conflicts are with other neurodivergent people, especially the intense ones that don't get resolved and tend to go on and on or deeper than they are with neurotypicals, who can usually adjust if they're made aware of what the problem is. Um, this is interesting. They call it digital etiquette. And it's not etiquette online. It's etiquette while you're out in public with your phone. Like not checking your phone, not looking over someone's shoulder while they're on the phone, or talking loud on the phone. When I first got to Seattle, I had my cell phone with me, and every time I'd get on the bus, I'd call my friends back home because I'm like, oh, good, I can catch up with my friends. It's just me on the bus. And I would have these big, long conversations. And I realized very early I was the only one doing that, and I was getting a lot of glares. Of course, in Seattle, it's hard to tell what a glare is and what's a normal stare because they look identical. But I didn't know that at the time. I was getting a lot of glares and stink eye. And after about a week or so, I even started to tell myself, like, I don't think people talk on the phone on the bus here. Like, and my ex had already told me not to talk to people at the grocery store. So I was starting to get a sense that talking in public, especially if you're by yourself, is not a social norm here. And that's like a 180-degree opposite from the Louisiana norm and even the Vegas norm. And so I kind of picked up on that and had to adjust to it, or not. Most of the times I didn't. But this is where it gets tricky for me. It says, in conclusion, there is considerable pressure to conform to social roles. And I can only think that it's internal pressure because I don't think there's, I mean, you have your Karens, but I think in general, if people are feeling a social pressure, that's an internal process. And I don't have that. I don't feel peer pressure or social pressure to do something in particular, even the talking on the bus thing. I became aware of it and I thought it was weird. And then I could decide whether I wanted to keep sticking to my norm or just to make it easier not talk. And sometimes I did. Sometimes I still talk on the bus. It depends. If I'm on a bus and I get a call, I'm going to take it. I'm not going to say, "Oh, I'm on the bus." That's not normal to do that. So I still get to choose. Most of us, most of the time, conform to the guidelines provided by the roles we perform. And my confusion is how this gets communicated. Social roles provide an example of social influence in general and conformity in particular. We conform to the expectations of others. We respond to their approval when we play our roles well and to their disapproval when we play our roles badly. I don't. That doesn't do anything for me. Because usually I know what I'm doing and I'm focused on is what I'm trying to do getting executed according to how I'm trying to do it or not. Not are other people around me liking it. And so maybe I just navigate differently. But even if I agreed with all of this, before I could test it, I would need to know how this is being communicated. Like, how are people knowing what these guidelines are to conform to? Everybody seems to know what the expectations are, but I don't know how they know that. And then, real quick, there's another website that talks about ascribed roles and achieved roles. And ascribed roles are those that you're assigned based on certain characteristics or attributes you possess at birth or that you acquire during a lifetime, which are beyond your control. So, because of something beyond your control, this role is placed upon you, whatever that means. And then you have roles that individuals acquire through their own effort, skills, and accomplishments, like YouTube creator or channel host. That's a role that I set out to acquire for myself. And now I could call myself a YouTube content creator or channel, whatever we call YouTuber. Um, Peer counselor. I sought out, that was a specific professional role that I sought out a certification for, and I went through the hoops that you had to. It took a couple of years. Um, and now I have that role. I am that professional role, and it gives me certain rights and responsibilities. Um, Also, certain expectations. I have a code of ethics that I send to all of my clients that they sign and agree to. It lays out my rights, my responsibilities, my the ethics, the expectations, what happens when any of that gets violated, or I don't meet any of it. It's all very explicit. So that I understand because it's a role that's clearly laid out, and we sign that we both, your understanding of the role and my understanding of the role both match. We both agree on this role. Your role as client, my role as provider or helper. Um, I guess that's it for. They mentioned like a police officer has the role of maintaining law and order, protecting the public, investigating crimes, enforcing regulations, etc. When I was in the classroom, I was very aware that my role was teacher, and I had specific responsibilities. Um, oh, let's see what's going on in the comments. I'm going to put the link and open up the panel. I think that's all I. The main thing for me is how people know. They seem so well defined for people, and they seem so cloudy and fuzzy and abstract to me. I don't know how people are getting them so clearly. Hey, Shift, what's up? Good to see our Tinkerbell is here, bringing her high, high vibes, high five vibes. All right, let me Okay, the thing should be pinned. The panel should be open. Yeah, the Hippocratic Oath. All right, let me finish up here, and then I'm gonna look at comments. All right, because I don't know. My social role is whatever I decide it is, unless somebody tells me otherwise, and then they have to justify why they have the authority to dictate a role to me. All right, be responsible for yourself. Yeah, that that. I think in a country like America or a modern Western democracy, each individual citizen is kind of in a role of keeping the democracy going and alive. Is that fake, Mike? Yeah. Well, Axis. I'm glad you said that. That's what I do. Not necessarily life coach, but peer coach, peer counselor here in Washington State. But it one of my roles. It's coaching, it's support, it's consulting as well. Um, I do offer that. That's actually getting more and more popular as the other professions get gate kept. I know a lot of mental health professionals that have degrees or PhDs that are in life coaching because the mental health field has become so overregulated with DEI stuff. Who's Bird? Yeah, if y'all want drama, y'all go watch Bird because this is drama light, and I know there's some people that maybe you never quite have an understanding of a concept till you experience it. So maybe the drama was too light for them, and they are going other places, and that's fine. I'm trying to provide a very specific thing here, and I know it's not going to be everybody's niche. 2% is what they at the school I went to. They said for gifted people, about 2% of the population are you going to be able to relate to, or will be able to relate to you. So that's like your target. So I carried this notion my whole life in my head that if I could hit 2% of the people, I'm doing good. So I don't expect to do any more than about 2% of what's out there. I'm not trying to be everything to everybody and please the world. That will probably happen, Drama Dude. I've talked about it on here before. All right. Yeah. Oh, thanks. Well, if if my weekend's not, at least I am. Yeah, it's been pretty cool so far. We talked with Joe earlier. I learned a lot about. I'm financially illiterate. They didn't have it in my school or anything. I think they taught a little bit of it in home ec class, like balancing a checkbook and household finances. Which, what junior high or high school kid is going to have household finances? So none of it meant anything at the time. And then they had business math, but that was like the math that people took that didn't want to take geometry or algebra 2 or the higher maths. They could like get away with business math as a credit. So nobody like me took business math. And in college, I actually took the mathematics of finance. But that's exactly what it was, the math behind how to calculate interest and compounding interest and all that. But it didn't tell you like anything about the market or what stocks were or anything like that. It just taught you how to do the math that comes along with that field. But it didn't lay out the field for you. And so it didn't help me with this either. I grew up in the era where we had when we were kids, like I don't know, 10, 12 years old, they gave all of us a little brown leather bound book with like green lined gridded paper, and it was a savings account passbook, and they had a savings account for each one of the kids, and for some reason they trusted us with the passbook, but it was something we were never supposed to use. Like we would definitely have to account for it if we went and took anything out of our bank. And I remember one year I was much older. I think I was in college, and there was something I wanted or thought I needed, and I went to my mom and I begged her to let me take some say. And that's the first time that she let me use that book. But you would take it to the bank, and they would like write the amount you're taking out, and then they do the math, and then they write the new amount in your savings. And every time you took savings out, they do it in this little book. And we had paper checks. So they did teach us in school how to fill out a paper check. And then and you had to write the amount in your balance book. So if I wrote you a check for $20, I had to write the check number, wildlife number one, $20, and I had to do that for each check. Otherwise, you wouldn't balance at the end of the month, and you had to hand balance with a calculator. My mom would sit there with her receipts and her bills and her calculator for hours, once a month, and get the checkbook balanced. And we had to learn to do that. My first checkbook was when I went off to college. I had my first account. They let college kids open up accounts with their college ID. And I got my first checkbook. And I had all that student loan money. So I was writing checks. Yeah, home ec. Oh, you're going to tell me they don't even have that anymore. Just the fact that I was in home ec. Um, and they had shop, but I wasn't in shop. Um, And then they had the carbon checks, and oh my God, was that an innovation? You didn't have to. I still put them in the book as a backup, but you did not have to write them in the back of the book anymore. You had a carbon copy that it kept for you that you could use, and you could go back and write them in at your convenience. So most of my adult life until the first time I lived in Vegas, it was in '98. I worked at Citibank. It was a huge call center. It's the size of a small city. It has its own zip code. Um, and Citibank, and they all gave us free accounts as employees. We got Citibank accounts, and Citibank was rolling out online bill paying that at that exact time. So I got a free Citibank account with free online bill paying, and that was the first time I got to use it. And I said, I am never going back. I don't know how anybody's going back to paper checks after this. And we also had to like lick letters, like put letters in envelopes and lick them and put stamps on them to send things to people, like mail, if you want to write something to a person. Are you, is this American? Man, that would have been, nobody taught me how to change oil, change a tire, anything. That's like one of the things that the Lost Boys don't get because they don't have the male figures to pass that on. And one of the things that we use in the men's group, kind of like as a filter, as kind of like a heuristic on who grew up with normal, healthy fathers and who didn't, is do you know how to change your own oil? Did you have an older male figure that taught you how to change oil? Or are you an adult that did not get that passed down and now you don't know how to change your own oil? And I definitely, I know how to do it. I would not dare attempt to do it. It's so much easier to drive it into Walmart and pay them. Last time I did it, the $20. And they did everything. Your fluids, they cleaned your windshield, put air in your tires for like $20. It was the deluxe package. All right. Oh shit, I've been going for half an hour. Well, this is a panel. I think I put the link. Let me turn my ticker on. Um, I'm gonna check and see who's streaming. Maybe there's other streams going on. I dropped by one of the drama panels yesterday, I think, and it was kind of hang on, Discord is popping right now. It was kind of I could see the appeal, like sitting in the drama jacuzzi for 10, 15 minutes and like basket. It was a little. I could see the appeal. It was nice to be on somebody else's channel and not have to babysit the drama and have like the drama be okay, and I could just sit and do the drama and not have to feel any kind of responsibility or obligation for it. So, I could dip my toe in drama now and then. Oh, see, this is, or don't tell me we're losing that. I think I'm going to cry live on camera. There's a lot of social stuff. Like everybody I know, my siblings, my friends, every one of them that had fathers have successful careers. They have money. They probably are all investing in stocks. They have families. They have stable spouses, relationships, stable nuclear families. They're contributing to their community. They're raising kids that are learning the same values, etc. All of that. They could talk to other, like interface with normal society and be successful. They have discipline, ambition. Um, like if I'm playing a board game and you explain the rules to me, I'll pick it up very easily and I'll know what moves are allowed, what I can and can't do. Society in any given social group of people, and again, it seems to vary by region. I don't know what the board game rules for that group of people is in any given context. They're not defined as well as a board game is, and there's nobody around to teach them to you. So, like if you have a group of people waiting for the bus at a bus stop, and they start interacting or talk, somehow they're gonna all fall into this common set of rules. Sometimes, every now and then, you might have the outlier, but I don't know how people are doing that. Like I would not. I would have my own set of norms, but another thing I've seen happen up here, not so much before coming up here, maybe I just wasn't paying attention to it, but I've been at parties or social events where we're all sitting around and suddenly, all at once, without no one said a word, people start like shuffling and getting their things together and putting on, and they're like, well, I guess it's time to go. And they just start getting up at the same time and walking out. And I'm like, and I'm sitting there like, how did all of these people, without speaking, all at once suddenly determine that it's time to go? And like, how did they do this? And I'm sitting here and I have no clue. I don't know what they're navigating off of. That kind of stuff. What are you characterized? This is Drama Light. This is actually, believe it or not, the sanctuary from the drama. So the deal was that we were going to keep this relatively drama free. The actual drama wasn't going to happen on here, but we could talk about and kind of break down and analyze some of the drama, try to learn from it. And that the other channels, they could have the drama at whatever level they want to have it, and then they could come here when they need a break from that. And so I call this Drama Light because I don't let it get to the levels that other channels do. I think it doesn't necessarily have to, but I think there is something that men get. I don't know that a woman can socialize a man and make a man, so to speak, a modern man, in the same way that another male can. And that's general. That's an ideal. I'm not saying there's not. I'm not saying it's not possible for women to. In fact, some of the most masculinizing influences in my life have been women. I talked about my theater teacher the other day. She was very masculine energy. She was fiery. She yelled. She was animated and energetic, and she was more male that she intimidated every man around her. That was a more masculine energy than I got from a lot of the older males around me. And so I'm not even saying it has to come from males, but I think that there is something there's Robert Bly talks about this a lot. His book Iron John was kind of a cornerstone of the men's movement for a while, about how ever since the Industrial Revolution, where we shifted from agrarian way of life to an industrial way of life, and the fathers were taken out of the home into the factories, into the workforce, they lost that initiatory chain that would happen as a father taught his son like the ways of farming and raising animals and crops and stuff. And so that's when young boys became lost because they no longer had an individual male figure to socialize them. They were being socialized by factories, by work, by these bureaucracies and corporations. And so we lost that initiatory chain and rite of passage that males go through in all cultures across the world. That kind of broke down here in the West. Right. I'm being very loose with gender. Like I know that for most men, it helps to have they themselves find that they get something from an older male mentor that they can't get from women or other types of figures. I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm just saying in general, and that's mostly what I focus on because it is seems to be so successful. And I know it works. It works for me when I get it. I've told the story one time about one of my jobs here in Seattle. It's one of the mental health places I worked at. And one of our duties, in addition to the mental health work, was maintaining the unit. And we had to clean, like janitorial duties, kitchen duties, all that stuff. And one of my supervisors, he was this old black man, and he would take me around and show me these individual tasks, how to clean the sink, how to do the mop bucket, all of that. And it was like a spiritual experience because the first day he did it, I was like a sponge, just I'm like, I have never had this before. I have never had an older male walk me around and teach me basic tasks. And it's like my soul was starving for it. And that was one of my favorite parts of the job. I valued my time so much with this guy. Like when he had time to come and train me on additional tasks, because I was getting that sense for the first time. I didn't even know that I was lacking it, of like male mentorship. And it was beyond just the practical teaching of the task, because a woman could have done that, a young kid could have done that. There was something transcendent of that happening between us. And I'm sure it was personal to my psyche, but I think it could also be a common experience for a lot of males. I think one reason it is personal to my psyche is because my psyche does have a large male substrate to it, being a biological male. No, my mom didn't consider me weak. She considered me unruly, and she didn't know how to control me. Um, I was refractory, not weak. Possibly, but like in my household, there were no male. We had a stepfather for a few years, and even he struggled because the rule in my house between he and my mom, however they came up with it, where they were not allowed to discipline each other's kids. And so he had very limited power to enforce his leadership. And she was very lax in the discipline. And that was one of the frustrations, I think, between them, is that he could not fully step into that leadership role because it conflicted with her values of the type of leadership she wanted for her kids. And meanwhile, none of the kids cared about this, and we all played together just fine. And to this day, we're all close and love each other and get along. So whatever the adults' ideas for our roles, the kids worked it out themselves just fine. Let's see what drama dude. Yeah, I do have that reputation, but like individual women would tell you differently. I've had all since I've been this high. I've had all kind of reputations. Like back in the '80s, people probably thought I was, let's see, gay, satanic panic, devil worshiper. They did think that drug addict, meth addict, uh, pedophile, all gays were assumed to be child molesters. AIDS, we were all assumed to have AIDS. So every time I walked out my front door, I'm like, okay, this is probably like the minimum that people think about me. And you know what? I was fine. Nothing happened to me. I was fine. So if people want to think that, because this is how I see it. I'm really into epistemology. It was one of my favorite branches of philosophy. If that's what they want to base their epistemology on, that's fine. People are free to choose their own epistemological foundations. If they care about reality, they would come find out for themselves whether I hate women or not. But if that's what they want to run with, because it keeps them bonded with a particular group, because that's the story that they all swap between them, not gonna bother me. Let them do. Reread that comment. Oh, you could no. I don't consider her weak at all. My mom was. I've told her before. There's two things I appreciate about her as my mom. She did not coddle us. If you got in trouble, if you hurt yourself, broke something, you are on your own. If you end up in jail, do not call her. She is not coming to rescue you. And so, and she did not need a man. Like, a man was nice to have around as long as they were meeting her standards for relationship, but she could kick him to the door anytime she needed. A man did not define her, and she did not need a man to live her life or be happy. And she modeled both of those things for us. And so I don't see her as weak at all. She raised four kids, single mother, on a single salary, like single parent salary. And during the 80s, there was a period where a lot of people were unemployed. There were a lot of layoffs. And so there was like a year or two where she did it on nothing. I don't see her as weak at all. Hey, Mr. Talcott. Well, he has opinions of both of us. You want to come up and talk, Jack? Right. That's what they did. It was so much easier to let the kids work it out because the kids, here's how my generation was within adults. Very early, we figured out that in many ways we were a lot more savvy than the adults. And so we kind of humored the adults and then we kind of ran things from behind the scenes ourselves. And so a lot of times the adults kind of deferred to us anyway. It was easier for them to just let us than to try to be the adult and figure out how to parent properly or adult properly. Like a lot of them took their cue from us, I guess. Yeah, I think a lot of people are, and I change my mind all the time when I'm presenting with reasons to. Absolutely, there are. It happens all the time on here if you watch for it. Yeah, my mom was actually she didn't have a lot of authority. She tried, but none of us. She couldn't pull it off. She was not a credible authority figure. So and like she was not a spanker. She didn't really believe in violence. Every now and then, my siblings got the wooden spoon. I somehow managed to avoid it when she got really frustrated. I got the cops. Her form of discipline with me was calling the police. And then they'd come try to throw me out for the night, and then I'd be back the next day. But she would try, like earlier, we were younger, she would try to ground us, and then she'd forget what the punishment even was. So like 3 days later, we were coming out of our room, and she didn't even remember that we were supposed to be grounded. So the grounding never worked because she couldn't keep track of it. She didn't believe in physical discipline, it less extreme. And so there really was no other way to discipline us. She relied on our good faith. Like, come on, I'm your mom. I'm a single mom. Help me out here. Don't make this harder on me than you have to. And Catholic guilt, all that stuff. She knew how to work that. And her most insidious form of discipline, believe it or not, and I've mentioned this before, it was she just assumed we were not going to be bad in the first place. Like she had such blind trust in us that you didn't want to fuck that up. If your mom's gonna think that highly of you and make that kind of assumption and give you that kind of trust, what kid is gonna want to lose that? So you like internally policed yourself just to like stay in that image of her that she had of you. You didn't want to shatter that if somebody was giving that to you. Yeah, some people do. I find some people either have a hard time speaking their mind or speaking their mind is their hard time. And I'm in the latter category. I never have. I've always been very vocal. In fact, that theater teacher I talked about ended up moving to the Pacific Northwest. And when I first moved to Seattle, I visited her. And I had been in Seattle a few weeks and we were sitting around talking. And she asked me, she said, well, so how do you like Seattle? And I said, I like it a lot. I said, it's a beautiful town, the scenery and everything. And I said, and I had been here only a few weeks, and I already had picked up on enough to tell her this. I said, but I'm a little worried about myself socially. I remember saying that to her. And she knows me like probably better than any human on the earth. And she said right away, like quick as a flash, she said, yes, because you're a very vocal person, and Seattle is not a vocal town. And that's all. That she just summarized it like that, and that's all she had to say. And from that point on, like I had that in my head the whole time I lived in Seattle because she knew, like she knew me, she knew Seattle, she knew the Pacific Northwest, she knew what I was facing, like what was going to happen with me and them, because they are very not vocal here. Like to speak your mind, anything too strong here is social suicide. Even ordering a cup of coffee, there's this like very indirect way they do it where they like circle up to their order. You can't just go up to the counter because that's what I do and say like, yeah, I'd like a decaf, like a half calf, whatever, and they'll flinch. They do the flinch thing. This is how satellites order coffee. Hi, yeah, could I maybe get one of those 20-ounce latte grande with a little bit of cream? And they do the uptick on the end to sound non-threatening. It's like a whole drawn out circling process before they actually like to communicate their order. They're not direct. They don't go in and shoot at a bullseye and hit the order. They circle. And that was weird to me. All right, let's see. I guess this is AMA night if no one's going to come up. Oh, yeah. We didn't get the brush so much as they really weren't. I'll tell you I'll tell you two stories. My grandma, like my grandma, I was a grandma's boy. She made me what I am today. She was the person she was the Jeff Whisperer. Nobody knew what to do with me like my grandma did. And but she had the switch, like go and you'd pick your own switch. And so you'd always pick the real thin switch thinking it's not going to hurt. Those she knew that those were the ones that hurt the most. And she'd watch you pick that switch and she wouldn't say a word. And then she'd and you'd dance around. But one time she was babysitting us. My mom had gone away for the weekend. And it was just her and us kids. And I don't know if you ever seen Four Rooms, but it's very much like that third vignette that Roberto Rodrigo directed where they left the kids alone in the hotel room. And we were playing outside and we got bored and one of us had the idea and she was taking a nap. Why don't we go spy on Mama? And so we would sneak into the house and we'd go up to the bedroom door and we'd look through the keyhole and we'd giggle. Hee. And then she'd come out to the door and she'd like, I'm trying to sleep. Y'all go play outside. And we'd run outside and giggle. And we'd get outside. That was fun. Let's go do that again. And we'd go back in the house and sneak. And we'd go peek at the keyhole and laugh. I don't think we got to do it more than 2 times. I know we didn't get to do it more than 3. And she was not a violent person. I've never been spanked by my grandma in my life, other than a switch here and there. And we were doing some construction on the house. They were putting new carpet and stuff. And we had those silver carpet strips that you put at the end of carpet where it meets the tile. And it has the little holes where you nail it down. And they're like thin and flat. We had like a whole box of them in the hall. And I remember that fatal time we did it, she came out of the room and she's like, okay, that's it. I told y'all. And she grabbed one of those things. She didn't bother to find out who did it. She came right for me. I was the oldest. Maybe that was a social role. I was the oldest. I was a male. And she went to town. And she hit me with that thing. And it was like hitting somebody with aluminum foil. That thing was so flimsy and so thin. I did not feel it one time. And every time she'd hit me, it would bend. And so every time she'd pull it up, it would be this like crinkly piece of metal that she's just sitting there like waving around in the air. And we were on the floor rolling, laughing our ass off at her trying to spank us with this little metal piece of carpet strip. And then we ran out of the house and just probably peed our pants laughing. So that's that's probably why they didn't try to spank us. And I talked about when I got a whipping from the principal in second grade for running in the halls. Me and this guy. It was the one with the holes in it, and he took us in his office and he gave us a few whacks, and we sat there quietly. And then he's like, "Y'all go outside." And he watched us walk down the hall, and we opened the door, and we got outside on the playground, and we threw ourselves on that blacktop, and we laughed our ass off and laughed to our side. We thought it was so funny that we just got paddled by we thought that was the funniest thing in the world. So for some reason, when you spank Cajuns, I guess we find it humorous. Hey, Busker.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, pretty good. Just
Spanking
telling
Cajun.
stories.
Yeah,
We were talking about social roles and how people get socialized.
yeah. I remember the only kind of real bad discipline I got was in kindergarten. at this Epsom Chapel. It was like this little old kind of like building next to a church, and this little midget, and I was tinier than her because, but she scared the shit out of me because she was a midget, and I just she had a bar of soap, and I cussed, and she washed my mouth out with soap, and that was like the only time I ever had that happen.
Oh my God. Who was this?
This was well, I can dox her. She's dead. Miss Gilda.
Oh, is a teacher?
Yeah, she was a midget, and she
Yeah, I'm not. I would if I had. There's no way I would physically discipline a child. Maybe like slap their hand away from a stove or something. But there's no way I would like formally like having a ritual punishment that involves physical
yeah, I mean like that.
violence.
Like my parents, they just they didn't care because I was a little fucking asshole as a kid. So
Hmm. Yeah, I'm familiar.
like
A little piant.
we went on our lives, you know, with our lives. We didn't. Miss Gilda was a part of the family, sort of, you know, because she was the person who took care of me
Yeah.
in kindergarten.
Was she white?
I think she was more. I think like from my memory, she had a tan complexion. She might have been Italian and by background.
Uh,
She had she
she
was
was
American.
ethnic.
Yeah, she looked ethnic.
Hey, Spike.
I don't know if it was Italian or Latino. I can't remember. But yeah, I would not want to go back to those days, man.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't. Maybe that's part of my problem today. I didn't really have a lot of authority, and the little authority I had came from the school, and it was very minimal and not burdensome to comply with at all.
Yeah, all you needed was a bar of soap and like
That's oh my God. That makes me sick to my stomach just hearing that somebody did that.
yeah, dude.
I had babysitters that did shit to me that I'm not going to discuss on here, but that was more like actual sadism and abuse than trying to discipline me.
Oh, that's fucked
They
up.
were bored and trying to entertain themselves.
Um, yeah, like there's not too much from my parents. I didn't have abuse. It was more psychological abuse from my mother because she's this.
Women are
Well,
good at that.
she was drunk like most of her life up until she got lung cancer a few years ago. And she would drink all the fucking time. She annoyed the fuck out of me. She'd do everything to fucking dig her nails into me. Oh, but she loved me when she was sober, right? But like fucking she she never abused me physically, but mentally she abused the fuck out of me, dude.
Like on purpose or unintentionally,
Well,
just as part of
yeah,
her alcoholism.
yeah. Well, that was yeah, and like she was like her mother also, who was also a right bitch, you know. So poor grandmother. But like now that she's 80 years old and doesn't smoke or drink anymore, she's cool as a cucumber most of the time.
Oh, you still talk to her?
Oh yeah, my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
There,
She's
there's I have alcoholics in my family that they seem
yeah,
more the mellow type. Like it wasn't an issue. Like yeah, they drank a lot, but it didn't disrupt anything, and they were kind of mellow and happy. So they were
yeah.
functional.
The Cajuns I met that were drinkers, they didn't ever get out of control. The ones that
It's
I
hard in Louisiana, South Louisiana. It's really hard to tell alcoholism from drinking because it's
right,
so much a show. Like instead of a chest of soda pop, they'll have a chest of Budweiser at an event, and everybody will be drinking on it. But they're not necessarily alcoholics, nor are they necessarily even drunks.
exactly,
It's just part of the culture there. It's just what we
exactly.
drink.
Like the Savoy Music Center on Saturdays, they have this jam on Saturday. I don't know if you knew about that one.
Oh yeah, and they have
But
that Liberty Theater thing too.
yeah, they have that. But the jam at the
At
center,
his shop.
yeah, shop like everybody. It's like 6 in the morning. Everybody gets there like early, and everybody's drinking beers. You know, it's like 6 in the
Oh
morning.
yeah, there's no out like there's no time. When I was in Vegas, people would say things like, "Man, it's before 10 o'clock. You're already drinking." up like in New Orleans, people drink when they get up. There's no 10. I think it was like it's always 10 o'clock in New Orleans or something like that.
Right?
And
Yeah.
even as kids, we would have like little sips of wine or beer. I remember me and my sister getting drunk on the rum balls one Christmas, and the adults like laugh. Oh, look at the kids! They drunk under the table. That'll teach them.
And that's hard liquor, basically. Or
Very casual about alcohol. Of course, we were the last state to raise our drinking age too.
yeah, I guess.
We gave up our highway money.
Oh
That's why our
shit.
roads suck.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. I kind of wish I was raised in Louisiana.
I'm not. I'm a Cajun supremacist. I'm not gonna lie. I feel just like I feel bad for all the people that weren't raised in Gen X.
Have you ever heard of
Y'all missed out.
Cajun Power? It's they make sauces and
Oh,
season.
like a brand, a
Yeah,
seasoning
they're called
brand. They have
Cajun
all
Power.
kind of those.
I shit you not. I told my friend about it. There's this brand called Cajun Power. I'm gonna make some gumbo. He's like, "What is that? A supremacist group?"
Cajun
Cajun
Power,
Power is that a? Because he was
Coon-ass
just
power.
joking
I'm
with
actually a Coonat. That's the subgroup of Cajun.
the Kunas. Yeah, the,
Coon-ass
I mean,
power.
I guess that there might be some people that get offended by that, but I think a lot
There
of
are
people.
even in Cajuns, the woke Cajuns and the high class Cajuns try to look down on it and say y'all shouldn't use
Yeah.
that word. It makes us look bad, and we embrace it because like it expresses our pride and our identity. And we're like we don't care. We're not bougie like you. We're gonna have fun and do what we want. And so there's tension even with just like any other group when they try to like gentrify or socially assimilate. They start taking on the manners of the
Yeah. Yeah.
whichever perceived as the upper class, which in Louisiana was the Anglos that came and settled everything because they had all
Mm.
the money.
That's so
And so
funny.
all the poor cultures there, like the Cajuns, the blacks, the Native Americans, the Mexicans, started to assimilate to the Anglo-American culture. That's one place the woke have. If the woke would study South Louisiana, I think I would have a much better. They would much better win me over to their side because they would be doing it in a way that actually makes sense that I could see.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, like, uh, I I think just about every Cajun I've ever met would have your same opinion, unless they were that it's a well, it's not too rare if they're musicians, but there are some liberals, but I don't think they're super left wing woke as far as I.
No, Cajun is a very conservative cult. It's always traditionally although we did, if you look at the civil rights maps and who voted for and against, my little section of Louisiana is bright, bright, bright blue. So the Cajun section actually voted pro civil rights against the rest of that area.
Oh yeah, because and also because I mean you were intermingling with
Yeah,
Creoles.
like there was not really culturally there was not much difference between the groups as
Yeah,
far as we were concerned. So we didn't see any reason why we needed these laws. That was definitely an Anglo white thing, not a Cajun thing.
yeah, that's kind of like a good coincidence, I guess. Like that you have like some Haitians or Creoles, like they all already speak French, and then you guys came down from Canada.
We were
You,
yeah, we were speaking French too.
yeah, so like, and then I wonder who who started playing the Cajun accordion first. I don't know.
Well, I know that it was fiddle based for a while, and the
Yeah,
accordion came in through the Germans because we had some Germans that settled down there too, and even to this day they have a big German population down there and a big
yeah,
German festival, and a lot of the Cajun names are German, like Scheckschneider. I grew up with Scheckschneiders. We had a
really.
teacher, Miss Scheck. They were all Cajun with a German last name. McGee, Dennis McGee, the
Yeah,
famous
I was just
Cajun.
gonna
That's an
say,
Irish
yeah,
last name, but he's Cajun. That's a Cajun
right.
name.
And he looks very Cajun. He looked Cajun.
Because other cultures got absorbed into like that's what we do. We like absorb and synthesize other cultures into one gumbo.
Yeah, it's
And so
amazing.
whatever comes into contact with us, even if it comes from some other place, becomes Cajun once we get a hold of it, like the accordion.
Yeah,
The
yeah, dude.
last names. It all becomes Cajunized.
Cajunized. I love that Cajun power sauce, man. I haven't in a long time though. I really want to
There's
make
more
some.
where that came from, Sha.
Yeah, it's just the making it. Oh shoot, I got a call. I need
Yeah,
to.
go ahead. I need a uh, here. I'll put you on. Yeah, I need to go get a refill anyway. And I actually had a video to play when I take my breaks, and I totally forgot what it was. So I guess I'll It's anyone else can come up too. It looks like it's open panel. We may have a small panel going if y'all want it. I can't. Oh my God! I thought it was way later than it is. It's not even 5 o'clock here. I could take another break and come back tonight. Let me see who's on. Let's do that. There is Hebrew is doing some drama. If you're into that, what happened with Abe? Um, Based Oracle is live. That's about it. Not really a lot of people. And like on these drama channels, I just have a question: is there always drama, or if there's not drama, people kind of like manufacture some drama just to have a stream that week? So like, because I notice all the headline, they try to make them dramatic, and I'm thinking, are all these people actually having these fights all the time, all week, every week, or is some of it just like, here, let's just make this into a fight this week because at least it's something. Hey, Jack. Jack, what's been going on your end? We haven't talked for a while. I just I haven't been checking out any channels lately, hardly at all, because I've been doing this so much. But I just assume it's the same type of drama. Like if I turn your channel, I'm gonna see the same general stuff with the same general people. But is there anything new happening over there? Like new type of drama, or even good stuff? Well, you know what? We will find out. Welcome.
Hey, blessings to you, brother.
Um, I feel weird saying blessings, but yes, blessings to you too. I don't want to say curses.
You're such a cool guy, Jeff. I
Oh,
think you underestimate yourself sincerely.
I think I probably do. I don't even know it. What's up with you?
Um, well, I was listening in for a while and I was gonna join. I was looking for conversations and I love conversations with you, Jeff. My laptop crashed.
What?
So anyway, I kind of lost sight of some of the conversations um, you were having, but good for you for stepping away, just focusing on you. That's healthy, Jeff.
Yeah, it feels healthy. Like at least like I think I have a good sense of boundaries. And some of the drama goes into territory that's just very easy for me to draw clear lines at. And so I don't have an issue with like that the lower layers of the drama. It's just a little bit of it that laps onto my channel, and as long as I can get that under control.
It's an interesting experience, this online panel
I,
conversation.
how much of it do you think is a trend of the future? Like is more and more of ordinary America gonna discover this and say, oh, this is the new thing, or are we just in a little bubble that's gonna kind of stay that way?
I think it depends on us.
I think so too. I think it's unknown, it's uncharted territory. And so
Yes,
we get to
yes.
determine those limits until we don't.
Jeff, that's a lesson I've been learning. A perspective of the lesson I've been learning. Um, oh, so many ways have been pointed out with that. Where I'm at today, Jeff, not to keep it to me, but my live stream today I thought went amazing. Uh,
Let
we
me
had
drop that.
we had a guest join who we had guests join. It was still some of the drama, but I'm learning and growing. I'm becoming better than I was. Hey, you were going to get a refill on your stuff or something.
Oh, you wanna talk a little bit, and I can run and do
No,
that? No,
no, but I
I'm,
want to
I'm
be
gonna
with
I'm gonna wait for when there's something to
you.
fill. I don't want to leave people just like you staring at the screen with the people. You want to play a little bit of your show?
No,
Oh, because I can wait. Um, so are you getting new guests? Like more people are showing up other than the usual crowd?
still pretty much the usual crowd, but today there was healthy conversations, I feel. And so I'm becoming more inspired. I really am. And the question of what's going to happen here with what we're doing, it depends on what it depends on a lot of different factors.
I
But
think Shameless has a good point here because I'm even noticing that if someone comes on panel and I have a panel I'm much more likely to take to like invest trust in them than it's if it's just somebody in the comments. Like I feel like I know people in the comments, but I know people that I actually interact with on panel in a different way. It's like another layer of three dimensionality to them. So they just for that reason alone, they tend to have more credibility with me than I would give someone in the comments, even though they're probably both equally genuine people. It's hard. Someone said the other day that it's like a reverse mole game. It's not trying to find out who's the mole. It's trying to find out who's not the mole. Like out of all these people, who is the person you can trust that's not trying to sabotage everything? And that's what it feels like how to find the people that are genuine.
the lesson is to learn how to trust yourself
Oh
so
no,
that you
Jack.
can
Oh
so
no.
that you can know that. And Jeff, this is where
I've crashed that car too many times to get behind that wheel again.
but Jeff, this is where my experience. I was listening to some of your story. I missed a lot of it, but there's similarities. And a lot of us have similar wounds.
Hmm.
And I've been faced with a lot of my old wounds and found some new
You're
ones.
you're laughing about it. That seems like
Yeah,
progress.
yes.
Provo,
So
don't come over here and harass my guest. Be gone with you, creature.
he loves me so much that he creates these battles. That was one of the things you were asking about, on these panels. How many of these battles are real and how many of them are just part of the show? He
Well,
loves me so much.
Provo flat out admits to doing conflict content. Take care, Provo. Glad you stopped by.
The thing is, he could be so much fun at peace, but he's
And
got this
I think
massive
he is in his
sword.
own way, like despite everything. I think he does great thing as a fellow autist. I think he represents us very well. I think he does good autism work. Dom, you want to come up?
I think he does good work. Yeah,
I can keep it just us. Like we don't have to have a we can have an intimate conversation. Here, let me drop the link.
yeah. Um, I'm a fan of Provo's actually,
Yeah,
but
he did a
um,
good stream the other day.
I I don't know when I paid attention. He offended me, and I lost respect for him, so I wouldn't give him my attention.
You think it was intentional? You never can tell with him.
I
If
know.
is
Well,
he poking the bear or is he genuinely
he's a lovable guy, and he is. He's poking the
a
bear.
lovable trickster?
But that seems to be what I attract.
That's social roles. We were talking about like the trickster is a role that people end up in. And for like human society seems to need its trickster somehow because we can't they keep showing up.
It's the ego. The ego is the deceiver within us that makes us prideful and afraid, worried. All that stuff's made up.
Because it's all subjective. It's like a narrative. It's
Yep.
whatever reality we're telling ourselves we're living in. And so
Yep.
yes, I believe all of that.
It's all true. And one of the things I talked about today is I think something we're all guilty of to different degrees: confirmation bias.
I should do a whole
Right?
stream on that.
Would you?
Yes, I agree.
Because
We
con-
see what we're already predisposed to see, or what we want to see, or what we expect or hope to see.
and then we look for confirmation of what we want to see. And we live in a world where lies have been profitable. Secrets, too. Like, our parents didn't know what they were doing. But in my generation, I think you mentioned it. Yeah, Generation X. I think that's what I am, right?
Yeah, I'm almost sure. Yeah, we're close to the
73.
same age, I think.
I was born in 73, so I'm
Oh my
pretty sure.
God, I'm the elder. Wow.
Blessings, brother. Thank you. Um, well, during our lifetime, there was a lot more development in communication, access to knowledge, right? Increased substantially through the communications developed through online. And so, and after World War II, in the progression of knowledge, there was a lot of developments in human psychology and the way science works. There's all sorts of developments. It took me a long time to realize my parents did the best they could, but they thought, there was rules to follow and you were punished for consequences that maybe you didn't even understand. Um,
Do you consider them abusive, or were they just disciplinarian? Like, do you have resentment toward them, or
I did.
trauma from?
I did. I destroyed my life based on resentments and then shame and guilt and all sorts of crap. I carried a lot of resentments because there was violence
Oh.
and it was really not a comfortable environment, dude. It was a war zone that I grew up in. And then so joining the military, I understood order. I understood obedience, basic training, man. I felt right at home. And then
Oh, because that was like you were finally getting that, or that's how
well,
you had it at home. That was like,
that's how
because there's this
that's how
concept
I was raised.
that shows up in my work called institutionalization. Like, if people spend too much time in prison or institution and then they're out in mainstream, they don't know, they seek that structure out because they're so conditioned to it.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know these things or recognize these things until different parts of my life, but I remembered I remember loving the strictness and the expectations that were placed, because there was no violence. I mean, there was very little violence. There was consequences if you didn't follow the rules, but I was raised like that. You better follow the rules, man. And but there's no violence in basic. It was just a lot
Did
of.
you grow? Are you more disciplined? Like, how's your discipline?
It
Like
depends
your
on
personal discipline, like when you're trying to get things done.
it depends on many factors. Because where my focus is at, I allow my focus to change. I allow my directions to change. Different. And so right now, I've admitted and I've recognized I've been making a lot of damn excuses for my physical health. Right? I have not been exercising very much. I haven't been going. I don't know when the last time I went out and took a run. Right? Um, so I know that I could improve my physical health a lot, improve my nutrition, improve my exercise, and the time and attention that way. But when it comes to getting things done, if I believe it needs to be done, I'm gonna get it done. My discipline. I mean, I was raised with hard work. It's part of life. You work hard and you do it.
Well, how did your the peace rally thing? Did any was there any follow up from that?
I followed up with one of the guys who said he was willing to talk, but he was heading out of town.
Oh, okay.
Him and his wife. And,
So that's still open.
oh,
This is a good question.
so simple. Love. Find gratitude.
Gratitude. Like appreciate what that's one thing when I look back like at how much that I took for granted that oh my god, you should be so appreciative of you don't realize it at the time what you should be appreciative of.
Yep. I ignored so many of my blessings, and I can only imagine how many opportunities I might have overlooked or ignored because I was afraid, and I was afraid of thinking for myself. I never, and it's humbling to admit, but it's true. It's something I had to come to terms with. Being raised in a real strict and obedient household for me it did two things. Helped me to figure things out without asking a lot of questions. Um,
Oh.
I did in some ways learn how to think for myself, but the other part of it, I was afraid to do anything if I didn't know the rules. If I didn't have permission, I was afraid to do anything. And I didn't realize that, but it carried over into me as a young man. When I got out of the military, it was like, holy shit, I don't know what to do. No one's telling me what to do.
Is that kind of when you went astray or got lost?
I was lost when I was 15.
Oh no.
When I chose to be angry and not find gratitude for life, you know? When you're raised in this idea of surviving, you don't know how to live. And
Yeah.
it was only after I got over my patterns of addiction, right? The booze, it's when my life allowed me to look at myself and a lot of different things. So we're living at a time, Jeff. What
Well,
we're going to do with this technology and stuff, that's up to us.
that's what I was gonna say. Even right now, thinking about blessings and what to be grateful for. Like we're so blessed to be able to interact. None of us would have ever found each other. We are so like that. We're living in a miraculous time that humans could even do what we're doing now, and the potential is so infinite. And like I see nothing but open possibilities, and I'm so I thought I was grateful for growing up Gen X, like the best time in history. But like, there's another time in history happening now to be like appreciative and amazed at too. I'm realizing
There
that's
is.
why I think people are really wasting their potential on all this drama. Even the people doing the drama, I think this is their opportunity to maximize so much more for themselves than that.
Jeff, that's what I've been trying to encourage people to consider. They're better than what they're doing. We
I think
all are.
so.
But
I think so.
if we're not willing to admit, we're not willing to change.
I think you have to give people opportunities to see that for themselves and to like develop that, like work those muscles that haven't had a chance to get exercised. And I think for a lot of people it can be hard to see. And then you run into the other issue where you see more redemption in somebody than is actually there. And then you end up the one screwed.
That's been a pattern for me. I have more faith and I see more potential in people than maybe what they see at the time.
But
But
then
Jeff,
I know people that have done that. I wouldn't be where I am today if I had not had people that did that for me without even me knowing. They just happened. That's what they did. That was their role, was to develop the next generation. And but for people doing that for me, I might not even know how to do. And so that's why I do it for other people, because I've had it done for me. And I hope I can only be like a tenth as good as the people that if I can give people just a tenth of what I got from those people.
Jeff, that's my testimony. I am so grateful to have discovered the examples and the scholars, the teachers that I've been allowed to discover. I am
Yeah, that is
so
the blessing. That is the true blessing for me. I didn't know none of those people had to be in my life at all.
right. I was blind to a lot of the good in my life, but I did learn from people and I paid attention. And I was blessed to have some great examples of leadership and the experience to taste leadership. So I felt the burdens of hard work, the responsibility for others, and what this craziness of online has allowed me to do, Jeff, has allowed me to remember how to have fun.
Oh,
It really has.
did you get a lot of that as a kid? Like even among the discipline, was there fun times?
No, I was that weird outcast kid, because I my life was different than those who I grew up around.
Oh, did you have siblings?
Many half siblings
Oh, okay.
between my mother and my
And were
father.
you like alone or even among them or the
Yeah.
oddball even? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
yep.
So, Jeff, there's there's a reason we're today where we are, right? We found blessings along the way. We've been working on healing ourselves and growing ourselves. And I also have a lot of hope and excitement on what the future might hold, sincerely.
I do too. I like even with the election. I'm not. I'm very bleak about the results either way, but I'm still an optimist as long as we have all of this. I mean, it got me through the last 4 years.
Jeff, I'm losing hope, but I still have the idea that using the technology, if we find the right words and connect with the right people, we can end the wars and start immediate reforms today. I mean, tomorrow. It could happen any day now because I don't want to wait till November. The people, the diplomacy and leadership of the American government is unsatisfactory.
Well,
They
I
haven't.
know these seem to be chaotic times. Looking at the headlines lately, everything's in flux right now.
Evil and corruption is getting emboldened. It's getting, pride and arrogance is growing. But at the same time, from the darkness, the exposure of like some of the sickness, I don't know. One of the things I have been giving a little bit of attention to is the P. Diddy nonsense.
Oh yeah, I
I mean,
vaguely know about that.
it's a
Those
lot of
charges.
It's a lot of sickness that's coming into light, a lot of evil that's been in the music industry, behind the music industry, and some of the celebrity nonsense that I don't know. I guess I don't know if I really got into the celebrity idea.
I didn't either. I know Hollywood supposedly has the same type of scandals and
Yes, it's coming into the light, and so the 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 evil and the corruption that's been behind the greed of the music industry and the entertainment industry, it's coming to light in the governments too. And the reality is the corruption in the government, the evil in the government right now, it's undeniable. It's only because of the support of the US leadership that Israel is continuing the way that it's doing, and that Putin is now kind of raising the
I
conversation
saw
about the
that.
threat of nuclear
Yeah, that's
response.
I'm with you on that.
I think it's time.
I think that's if you're going to stop war, I think that's a good place to start right now. Is Putin? He seems to be the one bringing us closest to it, and then China's like up to something too. It seems like.
The U.S. is pressing. It's pressing the limits. The U.S. is behind all of it.
Well,
And until we get control of the United States government, there's no freedom, nor is there safety. People might be comfortable, but it's a false reality.
so much of reality is
That's the key to accepting that.
because it's subjective. I keep going back to that. Human reality is not objective.
That's the key, is to accepting that every moment changes. Our perspectives and the world is constantly changing.
Yeah.
So as long as we stay present, continue to grow, continue to heal, that's our purpose.
I, that's so simple. That's such a simple message.
I know. This is what I figured
I
out.
think. Do you think? I wonder if these channels are helping people to do that. As chaotic and dramatic as they are, it's a little point of stability and like consistency that in all this chaos, like the
I,
world chaos. I mean, like this chaos is actually refuge from the real chaos in a stable way, stabilizing way.
we're learning about ourselves safely online
Yeah.
through any, through every interaction and every relationship. We are reflections of different experiences. And
A lot of us don't get this in real life. Like this amount, this all at once in real life. Like we don't have this amount of people to learn from. And online, you have hundreds of people you can learn and mirror and all of that. So you can accelerate your social intelligence here. Hey, Mike.
What's happening? Jack, Jeff, how's it going, man?
Oh, we
good
having
to
a
see you, Mike.
good conversation.
That's awesome.
Just
Well,
being present and knowing who you are
yeah.
and
You know, I think
like holding on to that in all the chaos.
I think the hardest thing of anything is just knowing who you really are. Figuring yourself out. You know, and it's just like I can tell you guys I don't know who I am. I'm trying to figure it out.
I don't think we ever do. At any
I think
given, because A, we change, and B, there's parts of ourselves we're always discovering, so we never completely know. It's like a
but
library. We never know every book.
but do you think this, Jeff? Let me ask you this. Do you think you finally know when it's time for you to pass on to another plane? You think you finally understand everything you've been trying to figure out? I'm just, I try to have solace in
That's a good
something
question.
do you finally have your awakening on your transition from this world?
I'm going to let Jack answer that for a minute while I go get a refill, and I'm going to think about that because that's a really good question.
Hmm?
I'll be right back.
The key to knowing who you are is acceptance.
Mhm.
If we don't accept ourselves for who we are, we'll never know who we are. And we don't pay attention to what we don't accept. Most people aren't paying attention to themselves, they're paying attention to everything else. And I used to be that way. Earlier on my stream, I made a confession. I've My time online for myself has been quite the experience. I've been studying me. That's my practice. I study myself, and I've been studying all of you, every single one of you who's been a part of my experience. I've been studying the behavior of people. All we got to do is accept each other, pay attention to one another. We can get along just fine.
Jack, do you know what you want to know what I see when I see you? and I want to give you my honest opinion, and it's not disrespectful. I see a man who is spiritual, but is also human. So, in other words, you are spiritual, but you're also prone to the human emotions as well. I see somebody who gives good advice, but also calls himself out when he knows he's wrong. And that's that duality of man. I think a lot of us, I think the biggest problem with men and women or human beings, whatever you want to call us, we can't just admit when we were darn wrong. You know what? I was completely wrong on that, because our pride gets in the way, and we have to always be right on every situation, on every question. Because, Jack, we're terrified of being wrong. We're terrified of being, I wouldn't say naked, but terrified of being vulnerable. We're so scared of being vulnerable. A lot of human beings can't just give in to something more powerful than us. Jack, what do you think?
It can be that way. But at the same time, it's only the ego that's threatened. And
Yeah.
it's the ego that's been conditioned in all of us. This is what the world is. The world has been led by egotists. Selfish people have risen to positions of wealth and authority. And so that can only happen if selfishness is conditioned. Well, what would cause people to feel selfish? Well, if you're wounded. And there's been so much, I mentioned early from the chat before I came up, there's been so much unrealized damage done with punishing children with violence.
Yeah, I think, or even in other ways.
And other ways. The ways of raising children was not understood by our ancestors. And I think many of the young adults today may be losing hope, at least some of the rumors I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the
They
youth.
do, yes, they do seem to be much more despairing than our generation was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And in a way that I can't necessarily relate to. Like,
Well,
we're just not looking at the same world when we look out of our subjective window.
if I look at myself honestly, the example I gave for my son was a selfish man who lived a miserable life, working hard. And selfish in the way that maybe selfish with my time, my joy, my care. I didn't realize what I was doing as a young man raising my kid.
Were you
But
pretty young yourself?
no,
Oh,
I was like 28, I think.
oh okay.
But yeah, I thought I was doing everything responsible, man. When I went to getting married and having a kid, I didn't want to do any of that till I could provide for a family. I was responsible, man, except with my debts and my self-loathing. Hey, the evolution of time, though, it brings different perspectives. And on any given day, I know that perspectives, if we learn different things, consider different things, and every day we experience each other in different ways,
True.
we can transform.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because the reason I brought up the way I raised my kid is, I don't know, he's young 20s now, and I don't know, but I can imagine he doesn't have a lot of hope in the future of the world. I don't know what he's seeing or what he's
You
not.
don't have any way to, like, you don't know anything about him or have a way of finding out what's going on with him. You just know he's out there. That's got to be hard.
I know people who know him. They know where he's at. They know how to reach him. It's like, hey, it is what it is. This is the crazy part of my life. But my life, I'm confident. Well, my hope is to use my life. That's why I'm real open and honest about my mistakes of the past. I want to be an example. If I can help others avoid some of the mistakes I made, because I made plenty of mistakes, man. Holy cows. But I also overcame a lot of things too. So I think this is the generation. We are the time. I believe, well, the answers are there. I think we can be the time that heals, interrupts the patterns of abuse and poverty that have been passed down. We can bring healing and truth.
I kind of think it is happening more and more on individual level. Like I think more families maybe are moving away from that into other ways. But then I worry about the other extreme of like having this like state standardized way of raising kids where the parents don't even have involvement anymore.
That was kind of my life.
Mhm.
Both me and my ex-wife, we thought our career was important, having more financially, a better outlook on the financial future made more sense than one of us staying at home raising a child. So he was raised in the system.
Yeah, a lot of us were, or
Yeah,
or
yeah,
outside of it, as the case may
dude,
be.
public school has become a place of daycare. Kids that hardworking parents send their kids off with the best of intention, but with a
Uh,
relief that they don't have to pay for that
yeah, some
period.
parents want that. Like some parents want the daycare.
Yes, yes, dude. It's life. Life can be tough, especially if you don't know what you're doing and you're stressing about bills and rumors and all these problems that life brings. It's real easy for us to lose sight of what's important.
That's what like knowing yourself, knowing who you are.
It's almost like some parents push their kids off on the resources, like the government and schooling system, almost like for a break for themselves. It's
Yeah.
like it's almost like some parents look at their children as like inconvenience. That makes sense. Like they look at them as like an inconvenience to their simple lifestyle, and I think that's where we get lost in the mix. A child is a gift. It's never a burden. Does that make sense?
Responsibilities. Those who don't really understand responsibility will see it as a burden. And every responsibility truly is a gift. It's an opportunity for us to shine in our role, our relationship.
Do they come with a gift receipt? Some of them.
Return the sender.
You
But I
know,
I
think,
do agree. Every child is an opportunity. That
yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
And every
But I think
opportunity is a gift. If you
I
look
do,
at it that way.
but I do think that, guys, I do think that we're hard on some parents that have never had the parenting skills given to them. So I'm not passing the buck. I'm only trying to say I think some young parents don't know how to parent. And I think it's up to us older parents to teach them how to guide them how to parent better.
come back to the idea of a community helping to raise a child. That's really, because the reality is in this world we live in, we've got hardworking men and women working 2 jobs, 3 jobs, reporting to different employers, still not having health benefits, right?
Mhm.
Because these systems abuse the workers. But we've got people overworking themselves. And how do they raise their children when they're exhausted, when they have no time to share with them?
Mhm.
This world is nuts, man.
Yeah,
By
it
design.
is. With the struggles of, like you said, Jack, with the struggles of paying bills, the struggles of healthcare, the struggles of putting food on the table, the struggles of a man and a woman actually having time, date night, and actually having all, like, when we think about the traditional family, It almost doesn't exist anymore because of all the complications of life now. And a lot of it's our fault. A lot of us is because we've complicated our lives. We're the ones that made it so complicated. Because remember how simple life used to be, Jack? It used to be simple as apple pie, man. And we've made life so difficult and so overly complicated. We take a simple task, right? And we beat the living piss out of it to it's almost unbearable. Why do we, Jack and Jeff, why do we make something so simple and so
Y'all,
pure?
why do y'all make? I don't know why y'all do that. I don't do that.
Any parent, any person in a relationship, any person that's trying to build something, we make things so complicated for no reason. That's all I'm trying to say.
I think modern civilization is complicated. Rome was complicated relative to what came before it. And the technology we have now is going to complicate society. There's some kind of little chirping noise from one of you.
It's not me. I can mute, but I don't hear anything. Nothing. Do you hear anything?
Um,
It stopped.
maybe it's Jack. It's like a little robot-y chirp here and there.
It could be Jack's knowledge sparrow on his shoulder. He's a knowledge sparrow. It comes out. It goes. No, I don't hear anything. But I
Hey,
just go ahead.
well, I was coming back to what Jeff was saying regarding the technology. It's at a point where if people don't start waking up, which I'm confident they are, there is a revival of the spiritual aspect. Oh, the point you were making, Mike, about we overcomplicate things. It's by perfect design. It makes sense, especially from a spiritual perspective. The idea is for us to grow in knowledge. We learn best through mistakes. And if we don't include love and God in our lives, I'm pretty sure we're designed to self-sabotage ourselves. If we don't go to the higher power for answers, we start thinking we know everything.
Hmm.
That's when we get worried, because those struggles of all the rules, man, those are real. Trying to pay the bills and trying to make sure the budgets are right and all this stuff. That's real stuff you got to deal with. Does Satan represent love?
I,
Yeah.
I'm a Satanist that I don't even associate. That wouldn't be my go-to figure for representing love.
Satan
Maybe
represents.
self-love, but you'd really have to get creative to get Satan to represent love,
Yeah,
or
it's
get
just
creative with love to have Satan represent it.
I
Satan
don't mind. I don't mind saying this, and this is the truth. I never thought, as an adamant Christian, that I'd be friends with a Satanist. I never thought that I would be, and I consider
Oh,
smoke. Can you hear me?
yeah. Are you coming in? I'm sorry. I'm toggling. I'm Yeah. I'm toggling his. I'm doing what he suggested here. That's all. It knocked you out. Sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
So I never thought that I would be friends as an adamant Christian. Never be friends with someone with a different outlook. But I can't see Jeff. This is just my opinion. This is not kissing butt. I could not see Jeff not feeding me if I was hungry, or saying, "Hey, you can sleep on my couch if you're homeless." So no matter what his denomination is or what he believes in, I don't see him as a bad person. That's all I'm trying to say. So maybe people with different outlooks of religion aren't necessarily bad. Maybe they're getting painted in a bad light. I don't know this because I don't know him personally. All I can say is the energy I get from him, even though we have different outlooks in religion, I cannot paint him as a bad person. That's what
I'm
I'm
a
trying.
Christian Satanist too.
So in
I
other
didn't know
words,
I'd be friends with all these. I had no idea when I converted to Satanism that
yeah.
90% of the people in my life, friends, would be Christians. Nobody
But
could have convinced me of that.
But Jeff, I think the reason being is, Jack, I know you want to say something, but I think the reason being is because the Christians that are surrounding you are accepting of you and you're accepting of them. And it's the common respect for each other.
And
Even
the
though we don't
Christians
believe,
used to be the intolerant. Like they were the one growing up in the '80s and the '90s. They were
yeah.
the they were the intolerant bigots. That's what Christians were known as. And I think they
Yo,
still have that reputation for a lot of people. But people don't realize how evolved and enlightened it's possible for Christians to be. I don't think they think that they can like
Jeff,
accommodate themselves to the times like everybody else.
If you would have heard, if you would have heard Roman Catholics back in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s, the way they used to talk about other religions, it would blow your mind. The closed minded negativity, and so I think Christianity has come a long way. I believe that we've grown
It
a
yes,
long
it
way.
really has. And I don't think it gets enough credit for that. And I think
Yes.
Republicans as well have come a long way.
Go ahead, Jack. I know Jack's wanting to chime in.
That comment from Nude Guru. That's one of my theories. Um,
This one?
no, the Jeff wants to sit
Oh.
for Jesus.
Well, I think I've been saying you need both.
Mhm.
And I think that's why I'm getting along with the Christians, because it's all part of the same mythology.
Well, back to that earlier question: is Satan represent love? I believe it can be said, yes, that Satan represents the darkness of love, and it's through the temptation that Satan offers, right, that people make mistakes. And as people make mistakes, if they pay attention, they'll learn. And so I actually think that the goal from like the heavens, the story I think is that this new time that's coming forth, the goal is for those who follow the Christ, right? Uh, Christians, the goal is to shine the light into the darkness and to lead those in the darkness into the light. So we can, when faced with the devil, we can invite the devil to tea. Let's join. Let's join forces
I
and
love it. I
glorify.
want to do a podcast.
Well,
Invite the devil to tea with the devil.
no, Jack, Jack, that's a great analogy. In other words, you're inviting discourse into something or
But
somebody
on
who,
your terms.
but you're inviting them to have a civil conversation. That's the T. That's what Jack is saying. Hey, let's sit down and talk about what the heck is going on. You
What's the
know,
tea?
constructively. Because this is the thing. People want to make fun of you, Jeff, for having antlers. People want to make fun of me for loving Jesus. People want to make fun of Jack for,
That's
speaking the
mostly it.
word, speaking the word. But they want to do that, but they don't. But they don't take the time to get to know us three. They don't take the time to
Yeah,
say,
that's what I was saying earlier. Like the ones
yeah,
that don't care about
hmm,
reality are just going to take whatever rumor and gossip
let's
and run with,
learn.
or whatever their in group, whatever the in group narrative is. People that actually care to like know reality are going to ignore that and see for themselves. Like make their own judgments.
Mhm.
And people are free to choose either one. It doesn't matter to me if people want to go with rumor or gossip, but at least don't pretend like you're interested in reality.
Yeah. It's yeah. It's like anybody. If I hung out with Jeff or hung out with Jack, even if we had a different view on something, I wouldn't make them feel uncomfortable. I'd want them to feel comfortable in my presence, and I would ask them questions. They could ask me questions, but I wouldn't demean them just because we have a different outlook on something.
I do sometimes if it's a really stupid view.
You do,
I've
you do.
done
No,
that.
no. Listen,
I'm
listen.
guilty of
So,
that.
Jeff, there's a fine line between criticism and acceptance. There's a big difference between the two. So
Where's
go ahead.
where's the line between acceptance and enabling?
Hmm. Well, that's good. Shoot. Are you asking me, Jack?
Well, it's a question that I've had to face for
Sure.
myself.
Look at behavior. Like, is there a behavior
So
that's continuing or increasing as a
it's
result of
almost like
something you're doing or not?
it's
Or are you just, is it, or do you have a good boundary between you and that behavior? And is it Acceptance is like allowing it to be.
You're right. So
I think
Jeff,
it comes back to what you can control or not.
Yeah.
Like
it's
you can,
almost
there's very little behavior of others you can control. So a lot of times you have to accept it. But at some point, it may be behavior that is leading to an outcome. Again, I still think it's up to the person. Um, the most you could do is just communicate it to them, I think, unless you want to be authoritarian.
Jeff, I think a lot of people go along to get along. In other words, they just will agree with somebody's outlook, even though they don't agree. Yeah, whatever. I just want to kind of push past this point. I have more respect for people that will stand on their
So they
belief.
pretend to agree, even if
They
they know
pretend to
they don't.
agree to
I
get
don't get
along,
that.
to go along to get along. You get along to go along. In other words, no, Jeff, there are people, Jack will agree, there are people that will say, oh, yeah, yeah, sure, sure.
So
Just to
like
get
2 plus 2 can be 5, or men can be women.
to
Just
get
to get
past
a just to move on. Move on.
to get
Part
Fine.
of
past the
Okay, it's
conflict.
5.
To get
part
past the conflict, it takes a real man or a woman to say, you know what, I don't believe in that, and this is why. To debate.
Yeah, I don't. I can't pretend realities. Like I can't fake reality just to move on.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
they're
part
gonna
of
have
Go
to
ahead.
put a cage of rats on my head.
Well, I think part of maturity and self-development is learning which battles to engage with, which
Mm.
problems, which battles, deserve
Mhm.
our attention and which ones to walk away from.
Mhm. Yes. Yes. Pick and choose your battles, Jack. Pick and choose your battles. You're right.
That's a
You're
lesson I've had. I've made a lot of mistakes, but I've had a lot of successes too. So maybe that's why I'm so quick to engage in battles. That question of acceptance versus enabling
Yeah.
regarding this online drama. I've been studying human behavior, including me. And so I'm wondering, I've got a reputation of mod God, putting people in the back and interrupting. And what I think it is when I find myself dropping to their level of engagement, that's where the boundary is. That's where I want them to be away because I don't want
Mm.
to drop into that. If there's not communication, if there's not resolve, I think the boundary is if I'm dropping, it's time to push them away.
I love
Sure.
that.
I think, Jack, I think that you're very misunderstood. I think that you have a way about you. Like I said, no one can duplicate the way that you are going to communicate with somebody. So, in other words, I think a lot of the times when you cut somebody off, or you put them backstage, or you kind of give them a little bit of the what's for, is for them to sit and think about the behavior that they're doing. In other words, it's kind of like when someone puts you in timeout. You know what I'm saying? You're in timeout right now. I don't hate you. I still love you, but you're in timeout right now. And people will automatically assume that you're pissed at them or they're in your bad graces. That's not what this is. Every interaction in life is a learning experience, and I think people forget that. Go ahead, Jack.
Like that right there, where you left off. Every moment in life is a lesson in life. Yeah, it's something like that. I mean, it really is. That's what I've had to learn. We've got to let go of the past.
Yeah.
Learn to disengage with the
Our
battles.
bodies don't, though. That's the problem.
We
The
can train
past
our
is with us whether we want it or not.
we can retrain our bodies for the future. I don't remember where you guys were at. There was a conversation brought this up earlier. The world is the way that it is, and trauma carries with us when we keep reminding ourselves of the past and of the problems. But the goal to our development is literally make a choice not to try, but to become. If you want to be more healthy, become more healthy. You want to be more kind, become more kind and
Yes.
feel that.
Self-determining.
Yep.
Mhm.
But the
Jeff,
idea, oh,
yeah.
go ahead, please.
Well, Jack and Jeff, one thing that I've noticed is that when I'm being attacked by other people, that are beating a dead horse. They're talking about something from 2 years ago, and they're still trying to lambast you, and you've already apologized about it. You've already tried to make amends for it. You've already tried to fix and go a different direction, and you've been going in a better direction. You've improved yourself. You've bettered yourself, but they refuse to let go of their anger, and it's a they problem, not a you problem. And what I can tell you is this, gentlemen, when I've realized this the last couple weeks or a month, I think I've talked to Jeff about this. I feel better about forgiving myself for the past mistakes I've made. If they can't forgive me, brother, that's on them. That ain't on me. Go ahead, guys.
I agree.
Hey, that's the truth. I didn't want to overlook what Mike was saying about Jeff too. It was a Christian and the way Jeff identifies himself. It's an example that labels don't define. And
Yeah.
what really defines a man or a woman is how they are, in the present. What is your experience? And I think Jeff is very caring, very honest, very
Well,
authentic.
definitely honest. I do care more than I.
Mhm.
If I had the ability to control how much I care, I would set it way lower than it's actually set right now. Let's put it that way.
It's yeah.
That's
It's
Jeff. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
No, I'm sorry. It's funny because one of the biggest things, Jack, and I'm sure you've observed it, that one of the biggest things that people hate is a bad word, but hate the fact that me and Jeff are friends on YouTube.
Well,
And
like
I respect him and he respects me and we
that's
look out for each
dumb.
other. No, I'm saying, but hear me out. Hear me out real quick.
I
They
mean, of
can't
them.
see. They as in the hateful people that come up, and they just can't see two people coming together with different views, being respectful and being honest with each other, and just talking like two human beings.
Well, they're their own
They,
worst enemy because that hate's just gonna feed on itself. They're only. It's only gonna. They're the only ones gonna suffer for it in the long run.
you know, Jeff, you are the most accepting person. So is Jack. You're the most accepting person I've met, and that's why I gravitate towards the channel. And people make fun of me. Oh well, Mike and Jeff, they're together. Listen, whatever Jeff does in his personal life is his personal life. It has nothing to do with me. I respect his platform. I respect the fact that he is an open and honest person about everything in his life. So is Jack. Jack speaks how he feels, whether it's good or bad. He's always on the cuff. So does Jeff. Jeff is like, yo, I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that. This is what I'm feeling. So I could never fault somebody for that. So I enjoy conversation with people that are open and honest and admit when they made a mistake. That's what I'm trying to say.
I support that.
I didn't know if you
I
wanted
think
to jump in
Newt
there,
pretty
Jeff.
much summed it all up here.
Yeah.
Hate. Hate is an inversion of love. Hate and fear, those two are inseparable. But those are an inversion of love. Either way, we're going to give those things our time and
It's some
attention.
kind of emotional connection to that person for some reason, whether it's willed
Yep.
or not. Something in their psyche is enmeshed with that person.
Can I?
Otherwise, you wouldn't care. There'd be just total detachment.
I would love to ask you guys this. This is a very serious question because I'm picking my brain and I want to know because I believe you both are smarter than me. What motivates somebody to be so negative and never let anger and resentment go? What motivates them to that? Why can't somebody just let it go? That's my question to you, gentlemen.
And maybe our friend Spike has an answer. Welcome, Spike.
Greetings.
Spike, what's up, brother?
So, Mike, I didn't hear the question. Sorry, I was.
No problem. You want me to, I can say it
Why
again.
people find it difficult to let go of hatred or hostility or resentment, or I guess any negative emotion toward a person.
Vinny.
Vinny, salute.
Vinny.
Salute, gentlemen.
Vinny, physical
up?
silver all the way, brother, all the way.
A little dab will do you, Mike.
Oh yeah.
Team Silver.
No, but
Hey,
what do you, I'd like to, anybody, why do you think it's so difficult for people to finally say, you know what, this person did say and do some things in the past, they want to make amends. Why can't people just let it go?
I have
That's
my
it.
theories, but I will let other people give theirs
Please,
first.
please,
my
anybody.
experience was I my pride. I felt righteous in my anger. I felt righteous in my indignation. And I found a lot of enablers. I found confirmation bias.
Mm,
I think that's the reason.
yeah. Well, I'll tell you me. I've said a lot. I've said and done a lot of stupid shit on trolling panels. But when I come to Jeff's, I try to be very chill and respectful, and I think I have been. And I've been to a few other panels, like CTs and some other panels, where I try to be respectful and nice. And there are some panels where we troll and we kind of get out of hand and we get attacked, so we attack back. But there are certain panels where we do behave ourselves, and we just want to be able to come
Yeah,
up and talk. Go ahead.
I think you keep doing that. You keep going to those panels and continuing to try that.
No, no, I go up, like if I go to your panel or I go to like maybe CTs or something like that, I'm not attacking anybody. They're
Right.
attacking me. And it's just like it doesn't make any sense.
Well,
Mike, this is my experience too, man. So, what I figured out, we're being shown patterns of behavior that we're expected to learn from.
Hmm.
So, there's something in us that we're attracting the opposition.
Hmm.
I use it as opportunities for myself to grow. I have grown, and there's evidence I've grown in my emotional intelligence
Hmm.
online. I used to get real reactive. And so maybe the opposition is for you to grow in your, I don't know.
yeah, maybe these people are a different play. Like maybe they haven't had
Well,
that growth yet.
I,
Since
I got
a
to say,
certain kind of growth does happen here,
yeah.
and where everybody enters it. But these also are people that have been around for years too, apparently.
Well, I don't know if you saw that comment that Mike P put up. Mike P, thank you, salute, brother. That was a great comment, and I appreciate you. I've
Yeah,
always appreciated
that's
Mike P.
Mike got it going on. He
Yeah.
knows.
Mike P, and then Sam, his wife Sam. Like people were attacking Sam. I came up one time on a panel. I was ripping into somebody because you should never be talking about someone's wife like that. But it is what it is. But I've made a lot of mistakes, said a lot of stupid stuff in the past, and I just want to be able to go past that and just come up and talk to people and be enlightened and learn from everyone up here. I want to learn. I want to learn from Vinny. I want to learn from freaking Spike. I want to learn from Jack. I want to learn from
Spike,
Jeff.
what you got to teach?
Um, well, we certain emotions resonate with people. Of course, happiness. We like to revisit our happiest moments, our good memories. But on the other side of that, trauma and bad feelings and sadness or anger tend to echo. And I think that whether good or bad, some people it's hard, it's difficult, or even not, or even undesired to not want to forget those feelings.
Hmm.
So
But it
I
seems a
kind of like
choice.
what Mike was saying there in the chat, Mr. P. I think of it sort of like if you're in the jungle with a lion or in the forest with a bear, you're not going to make eye contact with them. You're going to, I mean, I don't know, you're supposed to roll down the hill or whatever with a bear, but you're going to look the other way. You're not, you're,
Like maybe he doesn't notice me.
you're going, you're just going to pay it no mind. And as soon as you pay a lion mind or a bear mind or a troll mind, they're already getting at you.
Hmm.
So when it comes like a chat and troll, to be less creative about it, you can sort of chuckle and laugh at it, but when you point and they see your anger, it's going to instigate them to do it more. It's going to
Hmm.
inspire the troll. The troll is going to want to keep doing it because they're getting a reaction.
Yeah,
Hmm.
So
that's what that's the psychology of the troll.
That's facts.
They're like racking up. They're troll gain points every time they get that reaction.
Oh yeah,
Ding 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 ding
totally.
ding.
Ding 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 ding.
But I have respect for gentlemen like yourselves on the panel. I view trolls as cowards. That's just what I view. Because everyone up here has nothing to hide and will duke it out with anybody anytime. Even Spike. Spike is super zen. Vinny's chill. Like they'll still come up and they'll duke it out with you if you call them up. They'll duke it out with you. But these trolls, they just want to hide behind fake avatars and talk about your family.
Let
and
me
your
ask you
kids.
this. Let's shift the locus. Do you feel in control of what you do in response to the trolls? Like, do you still have the ability to choose?
Do I feel in control? I do most of the time. I try to lean on mods. Like if someone's talking about your family members or people that are
Yeah, I
past
agree.
due.
I agree that I do want to mod stuff like that. So
Yeah, but like I
continue to
said,
lean on me for that.
yeah, and then like talking about your kids and stuff like that, like then that shouldn't be allowed. But like I said, once again, if you want to attack me, if they want to attack me personally, that's trolling. But they go too far. They go lower and lower and lower.
Yeah.
And certain things, and that's not being a snowflake. You shouldn't talk. You shouldn't talk about anybody that's not on YouTube. If someone is not on YouTube, there's no reason you should
I've
put.
always said that, like family, personal, people's, anybody in their personal life, they should not be brought into the YouTube
This
world.
person put my ex-wife's name, my
Yeah,
children's
all that is
name,
shitty,
my
shitty behavior.
yeah, my ex-wife's address. It's like, why would you do that? And it's like I know who these people are, but I'm still not doxing them because I'm trying to be the better guy. I'm
Tommy,
trying
this
to,
your warning.
Even right now, though, Mike, just you saying that,
Mhm.
like that is disgusting. But just you saying that, I don't think that happened here. I think it happened somewhere else. From remembering correctly, from you saying it earlier. But just you saying it right now, it's feeding those people to do it again. I don't have any magic. I don't have any secrets. But I'll tell you, before I met you, Mike, like probably a month or two before I met you, I was heavily trolled for just being a different vibe at the old Valley spot. Completely different entity of a human coming into those panels. And I got super trolled to the point where my channel went down. And what ended up happening is I got on my live streams, I started doing some things when I brought my channel back. And I don't have any secret sauce for this. I don't know how or why it happened, but it was magical. Some of these huge trolls, like the infamous trolls back then, reached out. We talked. I spoke to them. They stopped trolling. Not just me, they're not on YouTube anymore. I reasoned with them magically. I mean, a few people.
I don't believe it. You reasoned the trolls off of YouTube.
I don't know. I really don't know how it happened. It was a blessing, but I talked to three on email, and I talked to one of them on a voice messaging, and I talked them out of trolling.
You are
They're no
going to
longer
be
on
the
YouTube.
wealthiest man in the panelverse if
They're
you can
probably on
figure out.
YouTube, but not by those troll names anymore. They're not, because one of them was threatening my family because I used to have all videos of me and my family on my old YouTube. My niece. Some of these people were saying disgusting things. But I ended up talking to them, a couple of them, and really chatting for a while, helping them re-strategize their role on YouTube.
Take care, Jack. Thanks a lot.
Later,
Let's
Jack.
do it again.
Damn, I scared Jack away.
So, what can you do it with some of
Way
these
to go,
trolls, or are
Spike.
they beyond redemption?
Rage quit. No, we're only kidding, Jack.
I'll do it like a little troll healing workshop. We could do like a little weekly group.
No one's laughing today.
Trolls
Nobody's
in recovery, reform trolls. Because
I
I
mean-
really do think that a lot of these trolls are wasting their potential, and they're made for greater things if they want to step into that role.
I think I was sort of the new and naive YouTuber at the time, so I don't even know if I still have that magic sauce. But because I didn't know what a troll was. I had been on Instagram and all of the social media platforms for years, doing lots of stuff, lots of content. YouTube was a different beast. I was blown away by the trolling and the stuff that
it's
happened.
kind of
Wild,
next level,
early Wild West
even
days.
for me.
Woo! Get along, doggy. Anyway,
One
We have
thing I
a,
have noticed is some people they're like reformation trolls. They'll pretend to be trolls that are here to change and concerned about the channel. Like they'll play that role while they secretly coordinate with trolls.
yeah.
And so you can't even trust the reformed trolls all the time because that could be a troll. Like that's the perfect troll for a troll is to pretend to be
Yeah,
reformed.
it's
make
so fun.
trolling great again. It's going to be
It's
amazing, Jeffrey. In
Vinny,
2025.
I'm sorry,
Shut up,
Jeff.
Michael. And I'm amazingly the best speaker here.
Vinny, excuse
It's
me,
just a
Vinny.
joke,
I mean, you are out of line right now. Make cats great again. Make them great again.
Make pushies
Meow.
hairy again. Bring back
Meow.
70s style pushies. I want the 70s pushies.
I think
Meow.
you know,
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a cat.
I think I think a lot of
Oh,
people.
it's
I
tough
think a
out
lot of.
here. Not a bot, you know.
I'm not a
Not
robot.
a bot. I'm trying to figure out if that was a pair of hands or a pair of feet.
Meow 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 meow
Oh,
meow
watch, he's
meow.
gonna go left and right with the bot head.
I wonder if we get copyright struck for
Watch.
that.
We're gonna ping them. Go left, right.
See how big those-
What if you got canceled for singing Meow Mix on your
I
I
That's
channel?
what
know,
you're
like
doing that
that's
the
the
other day.
song that gets me. The
I was in my
algorithm
hot
picks
tub.
it
I
up.
couldn't fucking tell. I couldn't type at the same time, but I was like, "Am I fucking, is Spike's fucking face go left and right with this emote?"
Oh shit!
Spike was on the button.
Yeah.
Must have been for, yeah, he was doing that for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, people have done some egregious shit towards me. It's all good.
I
The
think there's
easiest
been
things, Jeffrey. Sorry.
egregious on all sides.
Egregious.
Yellow bull with a
Egregious.
face makes me laugh. I'm like a dog, but I'm a cat. Who knows?
Not a cat,
I'm a
I'm
hairy
not a
pussy
bot.
who likes yellow bull. Better than blue. Better than blue bull.
So what else? What else is going on? What else is going on?
Well, we did candy. What's next?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's I think what Spike said. Spike did touch on. He tried to make amends with some of the pain in the ass trolls, and
I
it
do
worked.
that too. My door is always open, and they never want that kind of conversation with me because that is all part of the troll. Like once you do that, the trolling's over. An open, honest conversation is a troll killer. None of their powers work in
Yeah.
an open, honest conversation, and they never want that with me. That's how I know it's a troll.
It's just
So for
hilarious.
some reason, they wanted to put aside their trolling for you to even have that conversation.
Yeah.
Trolling. Keep them
Trolling.
Keep them trolling. Look out, Mike Jerome and LA Spike the Bar.
We're loving kissing. I have Leggy by my side.
See, look at there.
See, that's when I need that whip in the Blues Brothers.
the
So I can whip Mike from the
balance is
bottom
clear.
corner up here and go, rah! You know, like
Remember he goes, Vinny.
Whip
Yeah.
that cigarette right out of that girl's mouth, Jeff. Right,
With a
whip it,
cigarette out of her mouth. Yeah, it was great.
Which one?
Blues Brothers.
Blues Brothers.
Oh, I didn't see that one
The
growing up.
Rawhide scene.
I remember it at the theater, and they had
Whether
the
you
cardboard
whether you got
cutout of the
booed
two
or
brothers.
applauded, they threw beer bottles at the chicken wire
Yeah.
that you were playing behind. My kind of bar. Tell you the truth, that was my kind of bar.
I started watching that Class of '84. It's pretty good.
Have you seen the one movie we told you to see, Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
I did. I started watching that one too, and coincidentally they came out at the same exact time.
Yeah.
August of '82, and so Class of '84 is like the dark, gritty punk version, and Ridgemont High is like the normal teenage mall version. But they capture the same moment in history.
Hmm.
Now I got
What
that
is
Rawhide.
what is your best, Jeff? What is your best memory about the mall? What is your best memory?
The mall,
Yeah, just like hanging out at the mall.
Chicks.
Walden Books, because that's where I got all my books. That was like my little refuge. That was like a library in the mall. Anytime I was surrounded by books, I was in my little zone. And I actually got to work at Walden Books during the Christmas season one year, and that was like the pinnacle of my career at the time for being 20 years old. And because my dream was to work at a music store, and I could never get hired at a music store, but I at least got to work at the bookstore in the mall.
If there was
And
a
the
place I
bookstore
had-
was next to the music store, and the little candy shop Nut House was right at the entrance of the bookstore, and they had the Orange Julius and
Mm.
right across. So it was in the best part of the mall. So every day I went to work, I had the coolest part of the mall surrounding me.
Do you remember
And the
those
KB Toys was on the other side.
baby toys? You remember
Oh
those
man,
roasted?
AB
Remember
toys, man.
those roasted pecans? You get those pecans. They'd roast them with the brown sugar on top, like the roasted
I don't know if our
nuts.
mall had those.
Mm.
Hmm.
The
But
orange Julius was amazing. It
Spencer
was.
Gifts. How about that?
ours
Spencer.
didn't
Spencer,
have a
yo,
Spencer. It was a
Spencer Gifts.
small mall.
Remember when Spencer Gifts would sell the sex toys, Vinny?
Whoa, whoa, hey.
Oh, hey now.
Yeah, I would get all my gag gifts from Spencer.
Oh my god, that place was crazy. They had all the fucking weird,
And they had the
like
eye of the store.
the Pantera fucking t-shirts and all the weird fucking little voodoo dolls and
The further
shit.
you got back into the store, the wilder it got.
That place was,
Yeah.
As it should have, you know what I'm saying? And then you got
that
to the
place
door
it
that
was,
said employees only, and you dared.
yeah, it was like the young employees with the they like had dog collars
The
on. They're like,
sex stores have those
what
too.
is this? This is the craziest shit I've ever seen in my life. Oh, that was a crazy store. It was. I tell you one thing, like the one thing in the mall that was the best was the arcade. If you had an arcade in the
It was
mall,
so dark. I couldn't get. It was like
yeah.
When you look at the
every
arcade,
person that you tell your kids not to hang around seemed like they would be in that arcade because it was so dark and easy to just for anybody to hide in there.
I love the shit they have now. With my nephews, they go to these joint. It's just a whole fucking joint with fucking games and those claw machines and shit. I love doing
Mhm.
those.
What
I am
machines?
the fucking claw machine.
Oh, like the crane stuff? Where you?
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Yeah, the
those are
cranes,
so
they got the
rigged.
skeet balls and shit. You know, you get the tickets or whatever, but just that
You
fun
can do
shit. They have
those.
like those in the go-karts that run on the electricity. They switch the track up figuration of it, every so often. It's a cool joint.
Vinny,
Forget the
how
fucking
Vinny,
name of
how
it.
great
It's a
how
franchise.
Vinny,
It's fun. It says what a fucking moneymaker this is. I says this is
Vinny,
great. It's so much fun. You're like you just don't even realize how fucking much money.
I hate those things. I mean, it's like torture. They have those in hell waiting for me.
Sorry, Mike.
Vinny, how great was skee ball with the wooden
Oh,
balls?
love skee ball.
Yeah. Yep.
Love
Yeah,
skee ball.
that they have any kind of fucking game, and then the latest of the video games, which to me is some of the wildest ones. They have ones that you could just sit in, and it seems like you're a gunner on a fucking Navy ship,
Yeah.
and you're fully surrounded by the fucking screen, and this thing takes
They
off.
move you
whichever which
around.
way
They have some
you're
that are like
doing the
rides
turret,
now.
so you're like the turret, and you're fucking doing it upside down. It's wild. It's like you're a ball with guns.
Yeah, they have what's it called? GameWorks. They have that here, and they have all that. It's just not the
Skee
same.
ball. Skee ball was the best. We have a flip of McCoy's at the ocean front, and they had the skee ball with the actual wooden balls, the old school skee ball.
Oh, I
It's
didn't. That's all we had. I didn't know there's a new
yeah.
version.
Yeah, some of them use the plastic balls, like the plastic hard balls, but
What?
You know how many
yeah.
classes I skipped out, Jeff, trying to go across the street to the pizzeria to play
Oh,
Centipede?
hold on.
With the
Did
ball
Mike
on the
T just
fucking
pick
Centipede.
laser?
And I'm like, oh man, I'm playing Centipede. Fuck that math class.
Oh yeah. Mike P picked laser tag. You guys remember laser tag?
I never got to play. I want to play paintball and laser tag. I've never got to do either one
Oh my
or
god.
skydive. And they have
Laser
all that
tag.
here. So if anybody wants to do it, come up.
That's it. Cash App Jeff.
We'll
I'm gonna
stream it.
die jumping out of a plane.
We
You
can
know,
do like if
Cash App.
some of my hate
Mike's gonna
watchers
be
can come
DB
and get their
Cooper.
aggression doing laser tag
That's it.
or
I want
paintball.
to see Jeff jump out of a plane with no parachute. $50.
Mike, you know who DB Cooper is, right? Have you ever
Yeah,
heard of him?
DB Cooper. That's the guy who the freaking gangster,
Yeah,
right?
get jumped out of the plane with the fucking money.
Yeah.
Oh, Jess, you did. They make it look so
I
fun.
think Spike is DB Cooper, living
He could
vicariously
be.
under the name Spike Radio out in the West.
Cooper Radio.
That's it.
there's great documentaries on DB Cooper.
Yeah.
That's a fun watch.
Did you guys know that Spike's
He's a
family's
ladies man, and you don't
extremely
even
rich?
fucking know it. The guy
They're
probably
Spike's
extremely
family
rich.
did what?
Do you know Spike Somebody's extremely rich? He's a rich bastard. Did you know that?
Why are you doxing me?
Bottle cap.
Yeah, you were
Hey,
the one
I
up here
went
earlier complaining about doxing.
I went paintballing with some ex-military, and I'll tell you that was the scariest 2 hours of
Oh, I
my
was about to say
life.
that sounds so fun.
No, they were. I was. I think I got shot in the neck like 44 times with those guys.
Damn.
Look
These
up
guys are like,
laser tag, man. Let me tell you
Yeah.
something. That's fucking wild shit. Especially if when you're tripping up, if you stick to the floor, just, ladies and gentlemen, just don't wear anything nice. Listen, if you if you fall on the floor in one of these places, let me tell you, just imagine yourself rolling on the floor of a movie theater. You
So
know,
leave the
anything like
antlers
that,
at home.
where your feet, just not good. Meaning gum and spit and sweat and whatever the fuck else these kids are fucking doing in these things.
Oh, I love water parks and amusement parks.
But boy, I was doing headshots, Mike, like you couldn't believe. I was like,
oh yeah, no doubt.
I felt everybody else is running like maniacs. I just sat up nice in the corner. And I waited like a fucking spider, Spike. Just fucking unloaded on all my loved ones.
Yeah.
True.
So
Hey, they unloaded
Vinny,
on me the game before.
Vinny, Vinny, when you left, were you carrying the Glock when you left? When you retired?
Yes.
Okay, that's it. We'll leave it there.
Yeah,
I'm not looking to
Glock
skydive
19,
either.
man, Mike. Glock
You got a
19.
19? Okay, yeah. I carried a 17 and then a 22, the 40 cal. That was great. Awesome guns. Jeff, what caliber is your antlers?
I don't know how to rate them. They're like they're cheap they're plastic. They're like I would put
Plastique.
them at like Dollar General store caliber.
Well, I told you, man. We all need.
Walmart caliber.
You
I'm
need to
gonna
get.
upgrade.
You need to find out where they sell them. We all need to wear them one night on the internet, like on the fucking.
Well, I want to do a Halloween party where we either do avatars and like either do celebrities or other panelists, or like some kind of actual costumes where we show up
No doubt.
decked out in something.
No doubt.
But that's coming up.
I'm gonna go as a pussy.
Can't wait.
Oh my goodness gracious! Who else? Let me see. Let me look up here real quick. Yeah, that's a good.
Spicoli.
Hey, Spicoli. I actually really enjoyed talking to Jack. Jack had a lot of really good.
I do too. I've never had a bad conversation with Jack, and he does. I find he does bring a healing energy to conversations.
The thing with Jack is that if you speak to Jack with good, honest, open questions, not just a bunch of BS. Like some people
trolling,
come on,
right?
Yeah, some people come on this panel, they're like, oh, and it's not going to be a good outlook. But if like me, you, and him were talking, and it was very constructive. It was a good conversation. I think it was a very good conversation.
I think so too.
Thank you. I
Welcome
appreciate
anytime.
I appreciate it.
I thought you loved me.
Hey, Vinny, you ever see the movie Ford Fairlane with Dice?
Oh, I remember that with was that Dice?
Yeah.
No,
Mike,
that
when
was
he's falling out of the building, and the only thing, everybody's screaming and going in circles, and then all he
Say it,
is
Vinny.
doing is
Say it, Vinny.
going,
Vinny, say it.
I might
My
watch
hair.
that one.
My hair. And he's trying to fix his hair as he's falling. His hair's getting fucked up. He don't care about Landon. He just wants his hair not to get fucked up.
I'm going to tell you something. Like, I've been on YouTube about 2.5 years. Vinny, you are the biggest Guido, cat avatar, union break Goomba I've ever met. Like, you take the cake, my friend.
I appreciate that. Mike.
You're welcome. Take
Is
care.
Goomba a good thing?
It's a good thing between Italians. He's a Goomba. He's the boss. He's the boss.
Can he be a Goomba with me? Can I call him a Goomba?
No, you cannot, Jeff. You're
That's
not
it.
Italian.
So it's like the N word for, but I'm an honorary Italian. Do I get
So Vinny is the
privilege?
Goomba. So Vinny
I've
is the
got to have
Goomba.
my G pass now.
You're good. Vinny is the Goomba. He is the head He's the head
Goomba.
tenant in charge. He's
Vinny,
the head
you
of,
Goomba. Well,
he's a
I'm
Goomba. He's
proud
a
to
Goomba.
know you.
Yeah,
Hey.
and that's why, Jeff, when you have, they call them gumaras, right? Mike, tell them what a gumara is.
A
You know,
Goomada.
A Gumata is Jeff and that one dude that comes on with the bald head. Who's that guy's
Joe.
name?
He
well,
has
that would be
hair.
his kind of gumara, not my kind of gumara, Michael.
We're like, are you like white people? Is that like?
No,
No,
gumara,
no,
that's,
like-
that's a girl on the side, like
yeah,
married man.
yeah, it's like it's a chick.
You know?
It's your
Friday
I'm gonna
night
girlfriend.
ask
for
the
the
AI.
wife, Saturday night for the husbands, you know.
It's the guy that comes up that has the bald head that he's like he's not gay but he is gay but he's making believe he's
Midlife
not.
bro,
What?
Barnabas. He's a Goomada. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, Joe. You haven't met Barnes yet.
So
I'm
so
lost in
Jeff.
translation.
So
Spicoli,
Jeff.
can you help me out here?
Oh no, Jeff.
Well,
He's your
my
mid.
Google Translate is saying rubberized. Maybe
Jeff.
I
He's your
spelled it wrong. So I'm
Jeff.
not gonna
He's
go
your
to Italy.
Jeff. He's your midlife hoe. That's
He
what.
is my midlife bro crisis. Now,
Vinny.
just kid, I haven't seen you in a while. Come check in. I don't know what happened with us.
Well, I mean, I don't know, man. He might have left
But
you.
he
He might have left
did talk about learning about yourself online. I learned what a bully I could be.
you. You are. You
He
are.
did bring that out of me. Like I
Yeah.
was going hard at him for no reason,
Well,
just
Jeff, I think
because
that.
the temptation was there.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Jeff, I've seen you. I've observed you many, many times, probably a couple hundred times. You're usually very even keel, but when you're with him, you're very bitchy. You're very
He
bitchy.
brings it out of because he's.
Is that
See,
the
I'm
guy
doing
with
it
the,
now.
with the
See,
handlebar
I feel like I
mustache?
got trolled
That guy, the guy with
without
the
even
handlebar mustache, he
meaning
always
to.
yells at you, Jeff?
Huh?
Who's the guy with the handlebar mustache that always yells at you?
Jack Darko.
Okay, that's not
Oh
him,
my
right?
God, when he's twirling it, and then,
Yes,
and then
the
let's
Schrodinger's
talk about
millennial.
1920s.
It seems like he's always yelling at Jeff for some reason. It's funny.
Let's talk about 1920s square dancing. It's
I
like, dude,
love square dance. Oh my god, that is a workout. Let me tell you, if you're looking for something active, some cardio, go take a square dancing class. They keep you
holy
moving.
shit. Look at Spicoli over here. Look at Spicoli. Whoa.
Oh, that's who that. I thought it was a white lady.
Run,
I only see the little image. Sure
Thought it
enough.
was Karen.
Yo, Spike, I look at a wave, I'm like, let's party. Fucking Spicoli is the best of all time. Spike is Jeff Spicoli. He's like the most zen, chill guy ever.
He really is. Spike has.
Yeah.
I don't know if Spike appreciates how much value he brings.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, guys. Hey, if
You're
you
welcome.
ever want to see the arcade that I grew up in, though, it's in Fast Times Ridgemont High. Same.
Oh, is that the mall? Did you grow up at that
Yeah,
mall?
yeah, that's my local mall. I grew up at.
Fuck, I feel like I'm with a celebrity. Spike could be the master troll. Like we were trying to find the troll
It's like-
at the
it's
center
like
of the
when-
troll. Spike would be the perfect master troll.
It's like when 12-year-olds would chain smoke and make love in the back room, like just debauchery.
13, but I do remember that.
Like California debauchery. That's what Spike's all about. He's all about free love and
Yeah.
California.
Californians were cool. Like growing up, my dad lived next to this family that had moved to Louisiana from Oakland, California. And I thought they were the coolest people. I was best friends with the son, and they had an older sister. We all played together. They had a beaded curtain. The mom was so cool. We would go chill out the house and watch. She had all this like food that none of the Louisiana people had. The Californians were cool growing up. They were chill.
You said a beaded curtain. Oh,
Yeah, like it's like wooden beads, and it would like make noise when you walked through it. I thought that was so cool.
I
She
may or
wore
may
like
not have noticed.
caftans.
I may or may
I
not have
imagine
owned
Jack
one of
has
those.
beads somewhere in that house of his.
I had very positive associations of California growing up.
It's funny though, as a kid,
I
before
said it as a joke,
internet-
Jack, because he reminds me of a hippie guy, like a Spicoli. Jack reminds me of like a Spicoli when he's laughing.
let's party.
Is that like an Italian hippie?
No, Spicoli is the guy's name in the movie.
Yes,
See, I haven't
Spicoli.
finished the movie yet because I started watching it, and then I found out about this other movie, and now I'm all into it. I
Well,
think it's
Spicoli-
ruining Fast Times for me.
Spicoli's an Italian name, so
It'd be slow time. Slow
any
time.
last name that ends in a vowel is Italian. AEIOU. It's always Italian. So Jeff, you are now Gen X Jeff Acoli. So now you are an honorary Italian, Jeff. You are. I'll
I'll feel honored until the wrong people come knocking.
I went to the Restaurant Depot and I bought.
As long as I can say Goomba.
I bought 2 pounds of salami and fresh mozzarella, and I'm sitting there eating it like I'm a fucking fat Goomba. I'm telling you,
Like right now?
I'll get it right now and eat it. I'll eat it on camera. I don't care.
No, please don't. No.
I'll do it. Vinny, you'll get hungry. You know you want some. You want some
Italian
mukbang.
Nah, I'm good.
What would that be called in Italian? What's a mukbang called?
A mukbang?
What?
Feast?
Oh, the mukbang is those
Feast.
streams people like to watch people eat.
Fiesta.
Yeah. What do they call it? The ASMR, like where they watch and they hear
that's a weird type of mukbang. I mean ASMR.
That's strange. Yeah. I want to be away from. I want to be away from a Jeff bang. I don't want to be close to a Jeff bang.
Well, you don't have to worry about that lately.
Oh,
Ain't no Jeff bangs going on here.
That's for you and what's his name? You and Handlebar Mustache. That's for you and him.
No,
In the ball.
Oh, let's check in with Billy.
Oh,
Hey,
Mike,
Brooke.
you're the greatest, man.
Hey, let me get Billy for you.
All
Hey
right.
there. Hey now.
Hi, Brooke.
Hey, Billy.
Hi, Billy.
Hey, Billy.
All right. Well, listen, Brooke. That's
Billy,
you
Billy,
and Vinny
Billy,
are gonna have the battle of the pussies. Because he's a king.
Yeah,
That's a cat.
she brought the real thing.
Yeah.
Remember Caddyshack? Oh, Billy, please. Oh, Billy, boy.
Hey, Vinny.
Never mind.
What's up? What's going on?
Not much. I came in on the tail end of like you talking about California.
Oh yeah, we have Spike here from California, and you're from there too.
I'm
So-
originally from California, and it's kind of funny because I'm the only one in my family who was not born and raised in the state of Washington.
Did you notice a cultural difference? Because I know there was like some hostility toward Californians for a while.
Oh my God, there's still a lot of
They
hostility.
hate everybody up here.
Still a lot of hostility toward Californians. And the funny thing is, a lot of Californians are moving up here because they got better IT jobs, yet a lot of Washingtonians were moving down to California to get a start in IT.
Brooke,
So-
is that an attack cat? That cat is enormous. That is a big freaking cat.
The
That's
cat
Billy.
is
Billy,
the cat is
Oh,
16
Billy.
pounds, and it's basically he could afford to be about 12 pounds, but he's pretty much solid muscle.
Well, listen, you have a
He's
Mr.
like the Joe
Olympian
Pesci of
cat.
cats. He looks like the
Yeah,
Joe
well-
Pesci of cats.
That cat
Yeah,
works
that's
out.
what-
That cat gives me like gym advice, so that's awesome. That cat is a beast. It is. Look at that cat.
It's the Alex
Look at him.
Jones of cat. It's the Alex Jones of pussies.
Excuse me. I'm sorry, Brooke. Your cat. It needs to be migrated. I'm sorry. That cat is not American. It needs to leave the country right away. That is definitely a Mexican cat.
Jealous of your cat's purple collar. It's amazing on that neck. My cat is jealous.
There is no way, Brooke. That cat is not half jaguar. That is not a normal cat. That is an enormous cat. I'm sorry.
No, trust me, the cat needs to lose weight, but he's a spoiled little. He's spoiled.
No.
Well, I can guarantee one thing: there is missing deer and moose somewhere in someone's yard. That cat is about to wreck shop.
Or
I
a
can
beach
tell.
ball. Somebody's missing a beach ball.
No, I love My cat passed away last year, so he was a Scottish fold. He had the folded ears, and he was big. He had a big head. He had like the pit bull head. He was big. So
He's
God
so
bless
good.
you.
Look how he just sits like that. That's
Yeah.
great. I love that.
He's awaiting his
chilling,
next
you
kill.
know?
He's awaiting his next kill, Vinny. He's thinking, all right, who am I going to kill tonight? Look
Could
at
be
him.
planning on
Look at him.
killing us, Mike. Just
Look,
He's
that cat
probably
is guilty.
He's probably
Yeah.
gonna try to kill my arm again
Well,
tonight.
he's looking at Spike's side of the panel, so I think he's
Let
going
me
to
ask you a question.
Spicoli. I
Let
think
me
he's
ask
going
you
to
a
leave us
question,
Spicoli.
Brooke, is your cat's nickname the Iceman? Because that cat has definitely taken lives before. There's no doubt about it. Like hawks, like eagles. That cat wrecks it. He wrecks it. Look at him. What, you talking to me? You talking to me? Look at him. Nah, beautiful cat. Beautiful cat.
Yeah,
Well,
Billy could talk and be like,
he
be
came
like,
from
"Now,
a
kitty
shelter.
cats."
He came from a shelter and originally came from a shelter in Arkansas. So I'm sure
Mm.
he's killed a few animals in Arkansas.
Brooke, any humans in that mix?
Not that I'm aware of. Not that I've had him for 4.5 years, and he's tried to kill me a couple of times. He's woken me up by just laying on my face.
Brooke, if your neighbor plays the music a little bit too loud, do they disappear? And the cat's not seen for a couple days? Just asking for a friend.
No.
All that cat needs is a hat and a cigar and just a nice way to just tell the other cats, now you fucking lazy putty cats, I'm gonna put the workout on these YouTube
You work for me now. You
Let
work for
any
me.
other of these bastard cats know Billy the cat is taking over these.
Yeah, man. You put the prayer card in his paw. You set it on fire. You know, you say
Billy
the
the
prayer.
cat is not fat. The only fat is PHAT, baby.
I just want to say that Billy loves all my neighbors but one, and he's hissed at one neighbor, and this is the same neighbor that my last cat hissed at, and then my neighbor has another neighbor on my floor. Her dog has growled at this particular neighbor, and her last dog growled at that particular neighbor. So I found out that neighbor is a sex offender.
Woof.
Well, lovely.
So Brooke, Brooke, let me ask you a question. Do you believe, and I believe this with 100% of my heart, do you believe that animals can sense evil?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, there you go. Then that's a great question, and that's always asked to a lot of people because a lot of animals will like when I like.
Do
animals,
humans count? I've sensed evil.
No. An animal, no, we can sense evil. We can pick up on like vibes.
But like, does it mean anything to an animal if would they recognize it as what we call evil?
I think animals see something different. They almost see like your aura. Does that make sense to everybody?
I mean, like yes, we as humans can sense, sense things like whether it's evil or irritation or joy or happiness. But I think animals have I don't know if it's necessarily sixth sense, but it's the best way I can describe it is like I feel like they can tell a lot sooner than humans can.
Mm-hmm.
It's an energy, right?
That.
So
yeah.
Brooke, would you say it's like an energy? They pick up on a level of energy that's more than human. It's animalistic energy.
I think they just like even humans that we're not even that well aware of or told about is frequency emissions. We all admit energy, like we produce electricity, we receive frequency, vibrations. It's all intertwines with one another.
Yeah, definitely. Good.
And animals, I feel, are more of a heightened sense of that just through their different eyesight, and just for what their purpose is here to do on this planet.
Describe the car wreck. No, come on, Mike P. My Scottish Fold was beautiful, man. That was a beautiful cat, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. But no, a cat is very special. I think a cat is the only animal that makes you earn their love. Like a dog will give you their love no matter what you do. You can be
Yeah,
completely
they don't have a
moron.
choice. They want to.
Yeah, but a cat
They
makes
want to
you
get
earn.
fed.
There you go. A cat makes you earn their love and their respect. And the bottom line is that cats are mainly assholes. They're not like fun until they really fall in love with you. But when they do, then they're your companion for life.
They're fun when they want something from you.
Yeah, of course. It's like a woman, right?
And a
Let
dog
alone I
just
nickname mine.
stays fun all the time because
Yeah.
he's dependent.
Let alone I nickname mine Edward Scissorpaws. I also call her the quicker tripper upper because
I
when
love
I'm
how
around in
Billy
the
got the
kitchen,
feature. That was
especially,
cool.
I'm like
It's like the pet store,
tenfold on
the
slow.
cat cafe.
Yeah, I'm just like it's like I'm walking on the moon in my kitchen with this cat because
Yeah, I had a friend of mine who had a black and white cat like that, and they called it Patches. Patches. I don't. That was the cat's name.
Patches.
It's creative.
Like even he's a tuxedo.
Look at that face.
It's like he suddenly realized the whole world is looking at him.
Where's my beer?
You talking to me? You talking to me? Forget about it.
Go back to
All
your
he
thing.
needs is a beer and a bowl of peanuts.
That's it. He's like, I'm gonna lick my teats and leave me alone.
Oh, I love animals, man.
Oh, Mr. B. Oh, Mr. B. Oh,
Uh-oh, now we... Okay. Good thing I got it off of Zoom.
That's a gorgeous cat. That's a gorgeous cat.
The thing, like every animal that I've had, whether it's growing up or as an adult, has taught me boundaries. But I feel like cats teach better boundaries than dogs do.
Well, Brooke, let me ask you a question. Do you
Dogs have no
agree?
boundaries.
Do you agree that the cat actually hates you? It only wants food and to lick himself till he falls asleep.
Speaking of food, I'll be right back.
I think it depends on the cat, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
And I also think it depends on the human and the cat's connection.
The interaction, yeah. And that was a joke.
Okay.
Me and my cat I had for many, many years. He was a feral cat, and we would feed him, and we finally got him to the vet, and finally got him. But he stayed outside. He would come inside to eat, but then he would go outside to sleep. But he was an a-hole. He would hiss at you, and he would never attack us, but he would just hiss at us. Because I don't think he knew how to communicate. He didn't know how to communicate with, a domesticated family, but we fed him. And he ate, Brooke, he ate like a fucking champ. I'm talking about like steak and chicken. I'd get rotisserie chickens from Walmart. And this motherfucker would eat chicken and like all kinds of shit. And we loved him to death. We had him for so long. But
you killed him? You loved him to death, Mike.
I love him to death.
Shame on
Vinny,
you killed the poor.
No, he was old. He was old, bro. He was old. He passed, and it is what it is. But we gave him a good life. He was a hissing asshole, but we fed him good.
Like a lot of people on YouTube.
That's it. It's like what are you gonna do? It's like a hissing Jeff. I'm joking, but yeah, I'm joking. He's gonna kill me for this. No, to have an animal that loves you it's a very special thing. That's all I'm trying to say. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I love that cat shirt. Cool meow D.
Yeah.
You like my meow.
Cool meow D. Look at that. It looks like he's ready to go bowling.
Meow. Look, the cat's like, get me off of camera now. Like, leave me alone. Oof.
I like my cat. So I got Billy literally a month and a half before lockdown happened. The COVID lockdown happened here in Washington.
Gotcha.
And everyone's like, "Oh, he's a COVID kitty." I'm like, technically, he's not a COVID kitty.
COVID kitty.
Yeah, because I got him before the lockdown ever happened. Um, but I do have to say he helped he and a lot of different he helped me get through COVID. Jeff and the back door or the back
Back porch.
helped.
Oh, you said Jeff's back door.
No, that was the Zoom we had during COVID.
Yeah,
Hey Jeff.
it was,
Hey Jeff.
I meant back
My God.
porch.
Well, you said back door, and Jeff laughed about it. So I don't know what happened. Listen, Jeff, that's none of my business, bro. It's none of my business.
Yeah,
No,
we can move on.
so during COVID, a lot of peer counselors, peer specialists here in Washington
Sure.
started like Zoom meetings, and Jeff created the back porch,
Yeah.
and he was one of the folks that did the Zoom meetings. So it like a lot like I was just talking to a fellow, she's retired now, but a fellow peer specialist, and we were discussing like the silver linings that came from COVID.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, COVID wasn't easy on anybody, but we were discussing like the silver linings that came out of COVID, and one of them was like there became a lot more remote jobs out there, a lot more remote volunteer jobs out there, and it's helped. The remote stuff has helped so many people who have not been able to leave their home for whatever reason to be able to work again or volunteer again.
Sure. Well, Brooke, and that's a crazy thing, and it was a pandemic, as we would say. The one thing that I was blessed with is I never missed a day of work. We had 5 outbreaks at the company I worked for, and every single time there was somebody who tested positive, to come back to work the next day, you had to take a test. I had to take 5 different tests over a matter of a couple months. I never tested positive. But there are people in my family and people that I worked with that tested positive. I never got it, thankfully. And some of my friends and family members got really, really sick. They got real sick. So it was a real thing, and I'm glad all of us made through it. But it was a very scary time. It was very nervous and very nerve-wracking, and I mean, people were out of work for months on end. So it was
It
it
was so
was
unprecedented. It was just
yeah,
unknown. Like we had
it
never
was.
in our lifetimes experienced
You,
anything like that.
like all the jobs that I've had during COVID were essential,
Mhm.
and
Mine
the
too.
funny,
Yeah.
and the funny thing is I didn't get COVID until late 2021, early 2022, and I ended up getting it from the hotel staff in Olympia. And I was out of work for about 6 weeks, but I got COVID pay that entire 6 weeks, even though that job I was working from home at, and I was and I didn't have to use my sick time or my normal PTO. I got COVID time or COVID pay.
This is through your company, or was this through a state program?
It was through Seattle Counseling Service when I was working for them.
Oh, so that's something they provided.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, part of it was through a grant they got through the state, I do have to say.
Oh, okay.
Or they got multiple grants to be able to do that. But the
Hey,
second,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Jeff, I do apologize. Smitty's doxing me, just so you know.
Okay, I'll take care of it.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
wait,
sorry.
wait,
I'm
wait.
sorry. Young lady.
What's
ahead.
going on with Smitty?
Oh, it's some side drama. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. So
Smitty, knock it off. I'm gonna ban you.
So the second time I tested positive for COVID, I was asymptomatic the whole time, but I was required to test because the team I was on at the agency I worked at the time was all testing positive. So I had to stay home for a week, even though I was asymptomatic. And the third time I tested positive, it was I was definitely showing symptoms, but the symptoms were a lot better than the first time I had it, but definitely worse than the second time I had it, because the second time I had it, I only knew I had it because I tested positive because work required me to get it.
And you remember the symptoms. You probably remembered the same symptoms.
Yeah, exactly. But the first time I had it, I went to the ER because it felt like I've had bronchitis twice in my life, and it felt like I was getting bronchitis. So I went. They tested me for flu, which came back negative, and then they tested me for COVID, and they almost admitted me to the hospital because I was so severe the first time around.
Sure.
Wow.
Let me ask you this.
Were you vaccinated before that?
I had got my second vaccine like 4 days before I started feeling the symptoms.
So it didn't have enough time to kick in, because they said it could take weeks to kick in.
I already had the first vaccine, but the second vaccine didn't, like you said, didn't have enough time. So
and when you were sick, did you, like, when you said that you had congestion, did your chest feel heavy, like you couldn't breathe?
it's hard to, it's like it just felt like having bronchitis. And I felt like I had a sinus infection, like up here, like a sinus infection on top of bad allergies on top of a bad cold, and down here I felt really congested and like I felt like I was coughing up phlegm or trying to cough up phlegm. And something that a lot of people don't realize is if you have COVID, there's a chance of you getting spots on your lungs, because I had ended up like about 3 or 4 months after getting COVID the first time, I had severe chest pains, and I couldn't tell if it was like an anxiety panic attack or something real. And it turned out to be like it ended up being a combination of a panic attack as well as an asthma attack that was dealing with the spots on the lungs. I don't have spots on the lungs anymore, but it's one of those things, like, it kind of, when you hear spots on the lungs, you think, oh crap, I'm gonna die now.
Yeah. Sure, no, you're right.
I don't know how. I'm gonna need somebody else to help me to explain. I feel like I've broken it down to such a basic level of the type of drama I do and do not want here, and people are still finding these gray areas where they're not understanding why I find something problematic. Anything that gives me or Ahmad the impression of passive aggression towards Mike or some kind of hostility or trolling, if it's in good fun and we don't know that, that's risky. Like I don't want this to be the channel where people come and vent at Mike. So
And Jeff, I
that's what
appreciate that.
that's about. And it don't get caught up on the technicality of doxing, because when I looked at the comments, I saw what looked like general trolling.
Well, I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but Smitty did put my home address in the chat, so he did. That is
Oh, I didn't
doxing.
see that.
That is doxing. So I'm
But
not
I
sure.
timed him out anyway. So
I don't know what Shameless is talking about. I have no problem with Sam. I have no problem with Mike B. I have no problem.
then shame. If this is true about Smitty, then we won't have any problem. I timed him out, and he'll come back and
Yeah,
leave
just
Mike
ask him.
alone, and we won't have any
If his
problem.
room is flooded, and he's putting my street name out there. It's like, there's no reason for that. That's all. There's no reason for that. That's all. That's all. That's all.
Okay. Well, hopefully everybody got that cleared up.
I'm
And
not
it's
sure.
it's not. It seems directed at Mike, but if it were directed at anybody else, I'm sure I'll get other people like Mike with the entourage.
Mike,
So
a good,
currently it's Mike, but that rule would apply to anybody. So
What does doxing mean? Sorry for being.
when they
so-
reveal somebody's personal details, so
Yeah,
that
so-
like they
so,
can be
yeah,
contacted offline.
So Brooke, if I put your full name and your address or your phone number or something like that, or where you worked, that's doxing. There's no reason for that on these platforms. But putting someone's address and stuff like that, I had somebody threaten my life yesterday, 2 days ago, with my address on another panel, not this panel, another panel, and I had to take it. I had to take it. What?
Do you need me to go back batshit crazy for you?
No,
I
I took care of it. I reported it to the authorities, and their action taken care of. There will be
let's
legal
say
action.
yes. She's about to send Billy after him.
She's
Billy the
throwing you
cat.
a parachute here.
Well, there'll be legal action because you can't threaten to unaliven somebody with their address on a panel. It's against the law.
People back home think you went batshit, Mike?
Vinny, I can tell you one thing.
That was a
I've never
terrible
put
question.
someone's address and then encourage people to go unalive somebody. I've never done that, and I never would.
In my opinion, you could have thrown that in the back chat without making a scene during Brooke's story, though.
Well,
that's etiquette though. Like that, he did what he did.
Yeah,
I'm not
but
big on people teaching people etiquette.
I don't think Mike was
And Brooke's
being
an
rude
adult.
at all. I don't think Mike was being rude at all to me.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Like, guys, 'cause we were just having fun and laughing, and we always have fun and laugh. But people have to come up, and they have to be a-holes, and they have to just try to push the envelope, and that's fine. That's completely fine. They can do whatever they want.
It's good to be able to like move past that when it happens quickly, so it doesn't get bogged down
problem.
in it.
We're good to go. We're good to go. But I don't like people putting my address out there in chat.
Right, and I didn't see an address. I was going by other things that I saw
Yeah.
and making a judgment call, so I can't verify the address.
They were asking me if my street is flooded and put my address in there. So
You know, like for instance, like I had mentioned a previous employer, Seattle Counseling Service. Like now that's out there because I put it out there, but
And you're pretty well known too. Like you're not hard to find.
sure.
I don't think I am hard to find.
Not with a
I
cat
don't
like
know
that.
if I'm well known, but
Not with that cat.
You're not with Billy. There he is. We found you.
he's like, you're waking me up to put me on camera.
He's like, no, I go back to sleep.
I'm not hard to find either. I'm in a group home. Just go find my group home.
Wait, you're in a group home?
Yeah, I'm in a group home and I'm lying about my degree. I'm not a peer counselor. There's something called an assistant counselor. Have you heard of that? And there's like a whole body of Washington state law that proves I'm not an assistant counselor. which is a made up thing. It's crazy, and I live in a group home. That's the that's the latest drama on me with these internet detectives. I think they come from the true crime community or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Can't you tell?
You know, it's funny because like one of my neighbors looked up my criminal.
Quit the mic accusations, Smitty. That's what I'm talking about. You just said you
Excuse
didn't
me.
need my
Yeah,
channel to
yeah,
do this, so stop doing this. Am I wrong about Smitty? Everybody's trying to
yeah.
convince me
Excuse
this
me,
Smitty's a cool guy and he's the only one in the chat still on mic. What am I
Jeff.
missing here?
Jeff, I never said anything like that ever. I've never said anything like that. It's a blatant fucking lie. Blatant lie.
Like, like the reality in front of my eyes is telling me something very different than I'm being told by.
Don't talk
And
to
for some reason, it won't let me time him
strangers.
out again. So let me go take care of that.
Don't talk to strangers.
Smitty is an
Yes,
Okay.
absolute
thank you,
liar.
Shameless. I need somebody else to like translate it for me because I don't know
Hey,
any other ways to
hey,
What are
say
we
it.
hey,
talking about? Look, not laws. Somebody who rips on Jeff is now
Yeah,
ripping
he's
on
going
me.
too. I've been waiting to do this.
hey, Smitty, I don't know who the hell you are. I just met Mike, and so far Mike seems pretty cool to me, so leave him
Yeah.
the fuck alone.
Thank you. Thank you. I love you. I love you. It's awesome. Yeah, I
And this
appreciate
is
it.
Jeff's channel, so you know, please even if you guys don't like Mike, please respect Jeff because this is his channel.
Yeah. We have a good conversation and people come up in the back chat. Like I'll listen. I'm gonna be very chill. What he just said is completely untrue. I've never wished D word on anybody. I've never done that. I don't know about this person having cancer. I don't know anything about that. It's a complete lie. So it's all good. But listen, Brooke, thank you. I appreciate you sticking up for me. I appreciate it. Very few people do. I appreciate it.
You know,
I,
like I'm like for instance, like if I were to go onto your channel
sure.
and be rude to you, I guess what I'm trying to say is is if someone's a guest on somebody else's channel and the person who's like for instance Jeff's channel, he requests that there be no drama.
Sure.
So to the people who are creating the drama toward Mike, stop it because this isn't your channel or Mike's channel, and I'm not saying it would be okay for Mike's channel either, but this is Jeff's channel, so respect Jeff
They
and
don't.
what
That's
he
why they
wants.
get banned, and then they cry and ask questions. And it's so simple, like what you just said. If you have personal drama with Mike or anybody else, it just happens to seem like Mike lately, take it off stream. Don't come to my house and start fighting in the middle of my living room while I'm trying to have guests and have a conversation. Like, how were you raised?
Mm.
But you know what? I do have to say this, Jeff. Some people were raised really well and are still jerkwads.
Because it brings out, I think this brings out the worst in the people who
Mm.
have the worst to be brought out of them.
Let me say this, if I don't mind, because this is the first time I've actually had a conversation with with Brooke. I don't know what it is. I irritate the shit out of people. I mean, Jeff will tell you
And
straight up.
let me say that, Mike, you are not a completely innocent. Like, there are things you can own and take accountability for yourself. I do
Sure.
believe that you've, for the most part, left all of that behind, at least here on this channel. So, like, I'm giving you the space to
Uh-huh.
show that you have other potential than just that, as I would do for anybody. But that
I
is
have.
not to
Yeah.
deny or to have you painted as an innocent victim here.
Yes, but Jeff, you have to admit, like before everyone came on, me, you, and Jack had a great conversation, and then Brooke comes on.
Absolutely. And
We're having a
Spike.
fun conversation. Then Vinny and Spike come on. We're having a fun conversation. We're having a blast, and me and Brooke are joking back and forth about her enormous cat. You know, like we're debating. It's not, but what I'm trying to say, it's not negative. It's
I'm
fun.
glad
We're
he admitted that,
laughing.
Jeff. He was talking about her large
Yes.
pussy.
That's it. We're having a good time. And then you have people that come on in the chat that are talking complete nonsense. Brooke, once you learn that, that's usually how it is over here. You have the haters are going to hate. That's all it is.
Yeah,
That's all it
Taylor
is. But
Swift was way ahead
yeah,
of us.
that's it.
Taylor
So,
Swift reference.
Mm-hmm.
so
Actually, I am. Oh, go ahead, Brooke.
I was gonna say, so it's like kind of like the Christmas drama we had within a particular peer group we were a part of.
Similar to, but even worse, because these are people without mental health, or like we at least came from the mental health community, so we had that concept. I think these are
Okay.
people like just without any concept of mental health.
Sure.
Okay.
I think,
So it's
and
like
I think,
it's a more primal type of drama.
Yeah, all I know,
Okay.
I was looking up silver and I wound up here. What the
I understand that drama, dude. I do too. I understand that irritation. Well,
yeah.
I'll be the one ultimately to suffer for that. My numbers are still going up, and the checks are still coming in. So
That's it. We're
I'm
growing.
I've said many times I'm here for something very specific. That's my main
Yeah.
focus, and I'm playing the
So,
long game. And the drama is not the main focus of any of that.
so,
So if I
so
take a
not
hit
long.
on the drama, I'm okay with that. That's already built into my plan and my mission.
So
Hey,
not laws. So this is the not laws. Not laws. If you want to take your green face and go back to Canada, please do.
He ain't left Canada. He never is. He's probably not left his computer.
Because this channel is going to keep growing without you, bro. So go ahead and take your werewolf
Not laws.
revenge.
We have you here to keep it from being an echo chamber,
Yeah,
and I like
yeah.
not laws. I do.
hey,
I like
Ellen.
him too. When he's in his cage, I like him. When he's in his cage, I like him.
Nah.
Yeah,
But
I'm
I do
sorry.
have an announcement to make. I have some dinner in the oven. I'm gonna take a break soon, and I think I'm gonna go unwind with some TV in the Discord, and then
Right.
it's early enough. I'll probably come back later for another evening stream. So just want to
Jeff, it's
get that
something.
I
going.
Yeah,
I do
Jeff.
have a question for LA Mike. When you LA or LA Spike, sorry, LA
Ellie.
Spike.
Yo,
I love
Spike,
it.
we're like related now. L.A. Mike, I love it. Yes.
So LA Spike, are you from
Godspeed,
Los
Spike.
Angeles or Louisiana?
I am from Los Angeles, and I am right here.
Oh,
How you
okay.
doing? I'm Q Meowdy.
I'll see you guys later. God bless, man.
Okay.
Hey, take care, Vinny.
California all the way. Later, guys. See you soon.
Peace out, G. They all jumped off. The drama ended. They all jumped off. When you said L.A. Mike, it got him deeply offended. He had to leave. He was like, no. Oh, it's great. So Brooke and Jeff, salute. The one thing you're gonna learn is I know Jeff wants to make his frozen meal. Listen, we need to get someone to cook for Jeff. Jeff does not eat. He
No,
eats frozen meals. You know?
actually, when I have the budget for it, I actually know how to feed myself in a healthy way, and with other than frozen things. I'm just not in the best situation
You
for
need to
that right
eat
now,
better,
and
bro.
I'm in a food desert.
You're looking pretty skinny over there. You need to eat better.
Oh, that's life.
I
I'm an
was gonna
ectomorph.
say Jeff is always skinny. What are you talking about?
I made spaghetti and meatballs yesterday. Oh God, they're so good.
Oh, that sounds so good. Is it the big meatballs?
I
Or
make the big ones, the baseball size ones.
Oh, I love those.
Yeah.
Damn.
They cook slower, so they're more like medium-ish instead of like well done. So like you make the little meatballs and they get real dry. When you make the bigger ones, they're more like they're more soft on the inside.
I love a good Italian restaurant that
That's
serves
it.
the spaghetti with the giant meatballs.
That's it.
So I tend to eat a lot of frozen dinners as well, but I have neighbors. I have neighbors.
You have community.
Yeah, I have a community.
Mhm.
So on my floor, there's an Ethiopian family that
Mm.
probably once a week gives me food, or
Love
Ethiopian
Ethiopian.
couple. I mean, ver- they don't speak English very well, but their son always ends up translating.
Mhm.
And then there's other people in my building that make me tamales, and then
Mm.
a couple of us make dinner together, and people think I'm weird, like if I have leftover carrots or corn or peas or
Mhm.
whatever, I take that even if it's just one bite, because I have a bunch of leftover vegetables that are frozen.
Mhm.
I put it in that bag, and then usually at the end of the month, or when I'm running low on money or whatever, I make what I especially during the fall and winter time, I make myself what I call a Brooks Broke soup, or Brooks Broke stew. And then I end up making enough to freeze some for later, as well as giving it to, my neighbors, because I live in subsidized housing. So it's just like having people help each other is the best thing, especially like yeah. So
Mm.
yes, I am broke. I like that. Brooke, take away O equals broke. Yeah, I like,
Yeah, well,
yeah.
I don't like that comment. So, Mr. Core, you can take the comment back. People that are struggling financially shouldn't be made fun of. But no,
But
you
but
make the best of what you have. And the great thing is that when I was growing up, we had a couple years where we had to lean on the Catholic Church. You know, basically charities. You know, getting the subsidies, getting the milk, the powdered milk, the cheese. You know,
Yep,
stuff
I
like
remember
that.
that.
You know, I've been there. I've been there.
and
But we rise up and we gave back to the church. So don't ever make fun of anybody who's struggling, because anybody who's struggling is still trying. They're still trying.
but even when I was doing well financially, I still
Yeah.
called it Brooks Broke soup.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I don't lambast anybody for struggling, you know, and everybody should be able to eat. You know, everybody should be able to sustain themselves. You know,
I agree.
and I guess
Speaking of,
you
oh, go
gotta
ahead,
go.
Brooke. No, go finish up.
when someone
I,
making
I
fun of
was gonna
somebody because
say
they're broke, you know,
I,
that's not funny. You know, that's not funny to me.
I was gonna say I I learned a lot of this stuff from both of my parents. They divorced when I was still a toddler. And so
Yeah.
I learned how to eat what's on my plate. If I don't finish what's on my plate, if it's savable, to either put it in the fridge and eat it later, and if I'm not going to eat it within a certain time frame, put it in the freezer. It's just like my mom is the seventh of 8 kids, and they raised rabbits because they couldn't afford meat. So they had rabbit stew a lot of time when she was growing up. Everyone is different.
Well, Brooke, you may have less money in your pocket, but you have more love in your heart. I respect
I
that
hope I
more.
do. I mean, I hope I
Yeah.
have love in my heart.
Yeah. So keep doing what you're doing. And you talking about rabbit, us, you know, we're Italians, you know, and we eat a lot of rabbit. We would hunt it. We would hunt it because it was so plentiful. Rabbit was so plentiful that we would hunt rabbit and we would eat it. And it's delicious. It's so good. Rabbit's really good. So keep doing what you're doing. And I wish you nothing but the best. I had a pleasure talking to you. I really did. I think you're a super awesome person. I think we talked one time for like a few minutes. But you know, you're nothing but positivity. Your cat's awesome. I think it's half tiger. I'm pretty sure that's a tiger, not a cat. So you know, just don't let it maul you in the middle of the night. But no, it was great talking to you, and I hope to talk to you again. I really do.
Anyway, hey, I'll be back because I also have to eat. I'll probably end up making me microwaving me some corn dogs.
Awesome, corny dogs. Love it.
Well, enjoy and take care, everyone. I'm gonna go do the same thing.
Bye,
Not corn
Awesome.
everybody.
dogs, but
All right, have a great night, Jeff. Have a great night, brother. It was great. Like I said, I wasn't. I mean, just she's a sweetheart, man. So she's an awesome person. Um, I don't. Anybody that.
Bex, the only thing I would say about this comment is knowing the situation with Mike, just be very careful joking with him, and like it's a risk. I would say it's a risk. If you're going to joke with Mike, make sure he's in on the joke.
Well, no one was. She didn't call herself broke. Someone else did. Called her broke. You know, and that's
Well,
not
she
true.
called the suit broke. I think they were just making a pun on the
Yeah,
suits.
yeah, it's all good. You know, just have a little bit of humility. You know, it's the thing is like Jeff, me, you, and Jack had the best conversation, and then she's a sweetheart, but like people come up and they're like, you know, trying to like muddy the waters. It's just a weird fucking thing, you know. But it's all good. I always have a good time talking to you. And hey, I appreciate you. Like they were saying some crazy shit in chat, so I appreciate that. But I always got your back, bro. Always, always. I'm just walking around.
I see that. Well, I'm gonna go eat, and I'll be back later.
You coming back later?
Probably so, yeah.
Said I have to drink some coffee. I got some. I went and I tried to get some coffee. And we had instant coffee. I'm going to drink shitty instant coffee tonight.
Lord, you'll be
But
up
I'll
all
do it
night.
for you. I'll do it for you, Jeff. I'll do it for the antlers. I'll do it for the antlers.
Don't do it for me. I don't want anyone drinking instant coffee for me.
Come on.
All right, take care, Mike. I'm gonna go.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right, take care.
All right.
Oh, I like that humility. I'm really bad at humility, but maybe I'll be better at humility. That seems a lot easier for me. Shameless, is Banana here? I definitely want to make sure I get that little motherfucker. Is it Joey Waddles? Let me know, because my finger is on the button. And Bex, I think a lot of times it's who it's come from, because he has a past history with some of these people. I think if a random person came in that he didn't know, he might take it more as a joke. But if it comes from somebody that comes from a community that he has a history with, he's probably less likely to take it as a joke. Oh, and me. Okay. Hey, everybody. Hey, my invisible audience. Y'all are just in time to see me vanish in a puff of smoke and come back later. Hopefully you have lives then. Probably not. I know you won't. I'm still going to be your content. So I'll try to come back and provide some more later. All right. Take care, everybody. See you then. Bex, like 5 minutes. Meet you there. Take care, everybody. We're going to watch The Mole. Come and learn how to spot the trolls. Take care.